We're all owned by the syndicate, body and soul. Or should I just say body?
Hello, filthy movie lovers, something weirdos, and anti-criterion bros, to the 35th episode of The Sin Syndicate, where a vampire must always be a virgin, and the dungeon roughhousing is invariably performed at the behest of the producer. My name is Gentry Austin, writer and researcher, and I'm here with my co-host, adult film historian Casey Scott. And in this episode, we are doing something we've never done before. We are reaching our arms across the Atlantic to discuss a spiced-up sexploitation import direct from France, a film that has gone by a number of different titles. You may know it as Requiem for a Vampire, but to us, it'll always be Caged Virgins.
Take two devilish nymphets hiding from the police. Put them in a forest more ominous than death and listen to their screams. Screams of horror when they learn what fate awaits them as caged virgins.
Joining us from the backwoods of Kentucky is our guest this week, Jeremy Richey, the author of Sylvia Kristel from Emmanuelle to Chabrol, and frequent contributor to the recent slate of UHD releases of Jean Rollin's filmography, which have been put out by Indicator Studio in the UK. So we will be bringing Jeremy on in a few moments, but first, let's check in with the Sexploitation News Desk. I've got Casey here, and I'm gonna, he's on mute. I'm gonna talk for a minute here. This is I'm gonna call it our official 1-year anniversary. We're pretty close. So let me just say, if you're listening right now, thank you so much. You know, we've been doing this pretty consistently for the last 12 months. And as I've told Casey probably 100 times, this thing wouldn't exist without him. And so I'm glad he decided to jump into the fire with me on this project. And we can't not thank Alex DeSanto, our sort of third member. And he's also an integral part of this project. So I can't say enough thanks for him, for his insight and his youthful enthusiasm. But of course, we also have to thank all our listeners who have joined us on this journey. And many of you have helped us in research, or you've thrown us a few bucks over at Patreon, or simply sent us nice messages. It really does mean a lot. I think I can speak for both of us. I'm just really proud of the work that this whole community has been doing, and we're just a little piece of it. Casey, what are your thoughts after a year of working together with me?
Well, when you put this in the show notes, I was like, wait, it's been a year? Because we have been going pretty nonstop. I mean, yeah. Now I guess the listeners should know we typically we're going by a 2-week on, 1 week off schedule. Well, for a while there, we didn't have weeks off. We just kept going because we were so invested in doing something, and we wanted to talk, and we wanted to, build the quote unquote brand, I guess. I will also say, I've said this before, I'm really glad that I started this, and I've told you and Alex this a lot, is that my previous relationship with research and my previous, ex relationships with other researchers has really contributed to me not trusting a lot of people. So when you reached out to me, and I think we had only spoken a few times, I was like, well, let's see how far this goes. So I immediately was suspicious of everybody, including, full disclosure, our guest today. Our guest today, who I love, we had a little bit of a thing because of other researchers and my trust issues. So I'm glad that we'll talk about that more probably. But and the thing that has been the best about this is, of course, working with you and Alex. But yeah, like you mentioned, we have really developed a nice little community here of people who are watching these films for the first time, revisiting them, collaborating on research. Lisa has listened and enjoyed and connected us to other people. So now we're doing commentaries. I mean, right now, we've done We've done 5 commentaries together, and we have more down the line. So it's really crazy that it's only been a year, but I think it has lit such a great fire under my ass again. The passion is back. And it had been going for a long, long, long time, just specifically because it wasn't fun to do because of the way that other researchers were behaving. So it's been a great reminder that it's a big community out there, and we're all just trying to do this together and show love and support for these films the best we can together. So I like the collaborative nature of this podcast and our little community of collaborators. Yeah, our members of the Sin Syndicate, if you will.
Yep.
So I do need to start making pins, I think, so that we can all have that'll be our official membership card. We'll have some pins maybe that we can start shipping out to people.
Yeah. I know Alex has said the same thing where, he was kind of ready to throw in the towel for a little bit there on sexploitation research, and until this whole thing started, and we're all just excited again and doing exciting things. So you guys can all just thank me later.
It really is. Gentry was this was all Gentry's idea. So I'm glad that it succeeded for your sake too, Gentry. Otherwise you would never live this down. No, I know.
Yes, I know.
I think it did. No, I think it did. And I'm very, at this point, I'm very protective of you as a friend and a co-host.
Thank you.
So and I ride or die for my friends, especially in this realm. So
yeah, I won't go behind the scenes too much, but it's been a lot of work, but it's also been very fulfilling, I think, for all of us.
Absolutely.
And I think that there are people listening that have, let's just say, certain sway in what's being put out. So hopefully that, I hope that our podcast is maybe a slightly influential in that regard, and we'll see what happens. But
I hope so. I've at the very least seen the number of views and reviews of some of the films we've covered go up on Letterboxd, and that I will say that honestly it has to help knowing that there are at least people who have seen it and there's an audience there for potential reissues. I think that's important.
Right. Yeah, as I've talked to Dakota as well about our Letterboxd usage. It's just like sometimes we go overboard and it's kind of cringe how seriously we take it. But at the same time, people are reading it and they're looking at reviews and they're seeing, what's getting good reviews, what's getting bad reviews. But anyways, speaking of home video releases, Reviver 2. Nice to see that sell out so pretty quick. Well, I mean,
not as quick as the first one, but it just, I wonder if people are nervous now because of the fact that the first one got mixed reviews. I loved it. And so I bought it sight unseen, and I texted Oscar about something else last week. And I said, I'm avoiding any clues, any theories, any suggestions of what this could be, because Reviver 1 was spoiled for me, which is fine, but when this shows up in my mailbox, I want to pop it in and be completely surprised from the jump. Like I want to experience that Reviver experience.
Yeah. Well, don't talk to Charles Devlin then.
Nope, I won't. I'm not talking to anybody about it. Dino told me Dino even was like, if you know anybody who hasn't bought this yet, tell them to buy it. I'm like, everyone I know has bought it because everyone's in. Yeah. Everyone's all in on this.
I blame Dino as well for me rushing to buy it when there was like 12 copies left. Thanks a lot, Dino. Yep.
Listen, that I did it too. It popped up. I bought it immediately, and I spent more money because I wanted that free shipping. So I got more stuff.
Yeah,
on that order. So, which is the goal, I guess, for the.
Yeah, as I think Dino's hinted a little bit to me, just where it was kind of coming from and the sort of about the production. But I'm not even bothering to try to figure it out because I don't think I will, for one, and two, I don't want to. I don't want to figure it out.
I don't want to. I want to be fully surprised. And Oscar was like, "Oh, good. I like hearing this." I was like, "Come on, Oscar. you know me enough at this point. I like being surprised. I'm in it. I'm full on in." So yeah.
Well, and what I didn't also realize with this whole line when it came out is that it's not just one film. There's a bunch of stuff on each release.
Yes, because there's little shorts. There's like
Yeah.
homemade movies or little like industrial films. It's a mix of stuff. So I don't want to know what any of it is. I want to pop it in and just
Yep.
experience it for the first time. Especially because I think the only thing I know about these two films is I feel like they may not even have been released ever before,
Hmm. I
which
think
is
that's
even
the
a bigger
case.
deal because then it's like I'm going to be one of the first people who ever pre-ordered this who is ever seeing these films ever.
Hmm.
So how would I not order that? Are you kidding? You know, I mean, it's not about bragging rights. It's about film love. Like I love film, so I want to be able to devour that and experience that and put myself in that position of seeing a film for the first time ever
Yep.
as its first audience. Yeah.
And now we already know that Chris Poggioli is going to be on Reviver 3. He's involved with that. So it's
Yes.
like, well, okay, there's another instant purchase, right?
Yep. And he said
Yeah.
it was one of the endangered films, but that's a lot. It could be any
Yeah.
of them. So I'm not even going to look at the list. I'm just like, whatever it is, I know I'm going to love it. So I'm just buying it the minute
Hmm.
it pops up, not even questioning it.
All right, Oscar, give us a call. We'll figure out a sexploitation release for Reviver 5 or 6.
I've already dropped a bunch of suggestions to him.
But let's talk Francie's updates.
Mhm.
What do we got here? Sean provided a bunch of locations. I don't know if you guys have seen that. They are up on our Patreon now. Some then and now that he took, I believe it was 2023, he said, when he was in the area. So check those out. I think they are pretty great. How closely he lined up each shot. You can tell
Yep.
he really put some care into it. So yeah, check those
God
out.
love Sean. Yeah, I love him. I love listening back to that episode too and Sean, I will just say, next time you're in New York, I'm clearing my friggin' schedule. Just tell me. I feel terrible. I haven't met him yet, and yeah, and that'll be basically I have to clear the whole day. It'll be another Bowen situation where wherever we go, we're probably going to shut the place down. We'll probably be there for the entire day because we have so
Yeah.
much to talk about. So I'm looking, but I haven't done that in a long time with someone. So I'd probably do the same if you came to New York.
Yeah.
We'd shut someplace down. Yeah.
Yes. You would take me to all your haunts. That'd be a good time. Yeah. We'll,
My
we'll
haunts. Yes, I would. Yeah. Yes, we would. It would be fun.
What else we got? We got, I guess we can announce, yeah, Nude Camera,
Mhm.
Nude Las
Yeah.
Vegas, Kino Cult, Kino Lorber, our second involvement with them. Great team over
Mhm.
there. Brett Wood is doing amazing work on these restorations. You
Yep.
know, he really cares, you can tell, about
Yep.
restoring these as best as he can. And now I see that he's going to be doing a little commentary over some of the deleted, or what is he calling it? Deleted
They're
footage?
all outtakes, basically.
Outtakes.
Yeah,
Yes.
they were on a Twisted Sex volume, and I wasn't sure if they were going to include those or if they still existed on film.
Yeah.
I still don't know whether they're going to be retransferred from film. I think they are though,
I
because he
think
sent
they
us some
are.
screenshots and they looked great.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, yeah. So it's
Yeah.
45 minutes of outtakes, which is almost the full film, which is
It is.
crazy. So I thought the ratio was 1-to-1 on these Barry Mahon movies, but apparently not.
No.
It's really wild.
Yeah, we saw
Yeah.
some slates. Yeah, we saw some
Yep.
more footage of Barry in his airplane. So yeah, he's got
Yeah.
45 minutes of outtakes that he's going to be doing a commentary on top of, which should be very interesting. Of
Yes.
course, we've got commentaries on each of those films.
Yep.
I will let it all be a surprise how we formatted that, but it'll be a pretty fun time. Yeah.
Yeah. We did. I will say you did a lot of amazing research, and I did a lot of amazing research.
Yes.
I
We
will toot
split it
our
down the
horns
middle.
because we really did, and you'll find out. I mean, I honestly am impressed at how much we covered in those commentaries. Just not
Yeah.
again, not. I always feel weird about saying positive things about myself or our podcast and the two of us, but I'm really impressed with the work we did on this. I really am. And I liked both movies better, actually. Well, no, I think together as a project, I feel like they fit so much better than Sexploiters and Raw Love. I still think that release is great too, but these two just go really well together. And so we were able to bounce things off each other across the two commentaries, which I think was really good.
Yep, absolutely. And I will say, speaking of the research we did for those, I think that we'll probably put up those notes on our Patreon as
Hmm.
well when those hit probably on the street date of Nude Las
Yeah.
Vegas Nude Camera. because they are packed. So if you like
Yes.
if you like reading and learning more as you kind of, I mean, they would go really well with our commentary. Either you could read them after or read them as it's running, whatever. But yeah,
Yeah.
so another reason to check out our Patreon.
Yeah. And related to those notes, actually, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put together folders of articles that I found, especially about the whole Lisa Winters thing, the star of Nude Camera. That was a journey. That was a crazy
Yeah.
journey. And I only touched on it in the notes, but actually reading the actual articles. So I think I'm going to do that too. I'm going to have articles on Bud. I'm going to have separate articles on Bunny and all these different people. The guy who rented his house, whatever
Yeah.
his name was. Yeah.
Oh, maybe that's the way to go. Yeah, split them up on the Patreon a bit. You did that way.
So that's what I'll do. I wonder when our other one is going to be announced too. By the way, we have another release coming out with my
Yeah.
first solo commentary and your essay. I'm not sure when that's coming out.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that one to see how it's
I am too.
how they put those together. I think it'll probably be next month, hopefully.
I hope so. Oh, and that's something else, I guess, related to this. I mean, we're not spoiling too much because even the Kino announced it, but the film, at least one of the films, Nude Camera, was restored from like 16 millimeter, partially restored from 16 millimeter Kodachrome originals, not just 35 millimeter prints. So it looks great. Yeah, I mean, it's shocking to have a color Barry Mann film that's going to look that good. I mean, it goes back and forth between 35 and 16, but watching that restoration, I was like, oh, actually, I've said it before. A restoration can really change your mind on a movie.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I was more impressed with that movie revisiting it that way, for sure.
Yeah, I pointed out right when we got our screener that you can actually tell like what the color of the car is now, seeing that Kodachrome print. Yeah.
Yep. And Bunny's outfits pop. Yeah, I'm really excited about it. And, you say what you will about the films, Bunny and Barry together, like I'm really excited about it. If I wasn't involved with it, I'd be buying it. I'd be excited.
Mm-hmm. What's this Satan in High Heels update from Mike McCollum?
God love Mike McCollum. Mike McCollum. So we were talking about Cosmic Films, and we were trying to figure out who they were because they only distributed that one other film, which was Nude in His Pocket, I think, the 57 French film. So we found this article from Box Office 1962. So Cosmic Films, Inc. will distribute the independently made Vega production, Satan in High Heels, according to Arnold Jacobs, Cosmic President. And then it discusses it was filmed in New York City by Leonard Burton, directed by Geraldine Trader, starring Meg Miles, blah, blah. They just described Meg Miles as a nightclub singer, which I guess was true. And then it says it will open at the Forum Theater March 23rd, 1962. So we have a name of the guy behind Cosmic Films, but Mike also did try to do some additional research on him. And we didn't really find any, he didn't find any other Arnold Jacobs associated with the film business outside of this blurb for Cosmic Films. I'll check back with him to see if he has any additional info on that, but I think that might be it. It might just have been, that's something I need to send to Alex too, and maybe the FET history guy might know who Arnold Jacobs is. If he was related to Burton and related to the whole magazine world, that's entirely possible.
Yes. Yep. So yeah, there's definitely some research to be done on Arnold Jacobs.
I think he found an article that was an A. Jacobs, but then I think he determined it was a different first name. It wasn't Arnold. And I know that Mike, I love you. If I'm saying it wrong, I know you will correct me, and then we will do another correction. But this is what I recall. This is what I recall our conversation was. So yeah.
Okay. Good. I think that's it.
I think so. I still can't believe it's been a year. Oh, that is something else I wanted to mention. So I'm excited we're talking about these Jean Rollin films, but even more exciting is that they are not just being released by Indicator in the UK, they're also being released in the US. They do simultaneous US UK releases for these, which is great because then you don't have to worry about paying import fees or different regions. I mean, when they're on sale at Barnes & Noble, just go and buy them. Most of them are out of print now. At least the big super duper editions are.
Which they're re-releasing as sort of standard editions. Yep.
Yes, but I like those books.
Oh yeah,
those books have all the written extras from the Dutch versions, which I've been trying to get rid of for a long time.
And they've got newly translated interviews sometimes in there as well.
Yes, that's right. And so sometimes they're like re-edited. Yeah, and the new subs are different too. Yeah. We'll talk more about that with Jeremy, obviously.
Caged Virgins. A journey into the unknown and a study of the unspeakable things lurking in the minds of beasts. Things which might also exist in the darkest shadows of us all. Caged Virgins, coming soon. Rated R.
Oh my gosh. Our first time meeting after how many years?
God, it's been so long. I was thinking about that the other day. I mean, I started Moon in the Gutter back in like the mid 2000s. It's been like 20 years ago. It's been a long time.
Yes. God, it has been that long.
Yeah, I interviewed you for my vlog back way long time ago. I don't even know if you remember that.
I don't remember. I don't. I wonder what I said.
A little email interview. Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. I do remember that. Yes, I do. I was thinking, oh, wait, I did an interview over the phone. I don't remember us speaking.
No,
but yeah,
it was via
I totally
email,
remember. Yeah. I totally remember through email. Yes, that's right.
What was it about?
Just Casey's
about
life,
sexploitation.
All of that good stuff. Yeah.
I think the only other one I did that was written was Robin Bougie for Cinema Sewer, and then he like illustrated me, and that was, and that's why. And we're trying.
I don't have his sounds.
And we're trying to get him on here, and I'm kind of like, well, once we have you on, can you like do an illustration of Gentry and I so we can maybe make an addition to the podcast artwork or something?
Yeah,
I would love it. Yeah.
It was driving me crazy that I couldn't find I had that original, that Something Weird video, VHS Caged Virgins years ago, and I don't know. It's just long gone. And I thought I had a digital copy someplace, and I was looking, and I don't have it. But
yeah. Maybe I should ask Nathaniel again to see if he remembers like what's
Nathaniel
different.
might. He's very good about his archiving. He sent me all sorts of out of print Something Weird stuff over the years, so he might still have it.
Yeah, I even checked their website, and it doesn't. Yeah, it's.
Oh yeah, because Novak
everything changed.
Yeah. But that's kind of what happens. Like, I guess we'll talk about the home video history of this. Is that when you get like something gorgeous restored from the original negative in the original French, you're not gonna look backwards to like the American version that came out. It's like that's in the past, and I think that's kind of like Gentry. One of your least favorite Jess Franco movies is Night of the Blood Monster or The Bloody Judge. You can't see the AIP version to know if that was any good or not. Maybe it flowed better than whatever we have now. That's The Bloody Judge, because they cut out some of the extraneous garbage. So, but I'm tempted to know, because I know what I do know is that they were able to fit it onto a double feature tape years ago. It wasn't with Axe. It was maybe, I don't think it was with Axe. It was with something else, because Novak released 2 of those. It was Axe and something else, and then Caged Virgins and something else. And they were both movies were basically to fit onto 1 2-hour tape.
It wasn't behind locked doors, was it?
Oh, it might have been. Yeah. This is where I wish my home video knowledge was better from then. Yeah, that I don't remember.
Yeah, my memory is not great, but I just remember it being shorter. For sure, because I had seen the video search of Miami tape before then. That's how I was introduced to the film. I wish I still had that too. But yeah, I remember it being shorter, and for some reason, I remember. It seems like the dungeon sequences had a little more footage, but that might just be my imagination because the more lyrical stuff was kind of cut down, so it seemed a little more, I don't know, integral to the film. But yeah, that's all I remember. I don't remember a lot of changes though. That I recall. So.
Yeah, because I was thinking about Novak likes pacing, so I'm like, well, is the long run through the field where they running towards the camera? I'm like, he probably would have tightened this up.
Cut that.
That's why it's funny, because those are all my favorite parts.
Yes, I love them. I'm like, there's a difference between Barry Mahon letting the camera run, there's having people walk. Roland knows what he's doing. There's long walks, there's long runs, there's long takes. He knows what he's doing. So
yeah, and I feel like when you mess, his pacing is so specific, and editing is so specific to him, and when you mess with it just slightly, it just kind of throws everything off. So yeah, I suspect that you're right, that Novak probably cut a lot of that early footage, which is to me that's actually, I was thinking earlier, I believe Requiem was the first Rollin film that I saw via that video search tape, because that would have been in the mid 90s when I was discovering all that stuff. And yeah, it was those early scenes that just made me fall in love immediately with his filming. I was just like, I don't know what this is. I've never seen anything like this, but man, I love this. I want to find more of this stuff. So yeah.
Well, maybe that's a good intro for you, Jeremy. Like, what's your, your history with Rollin, and maybe talk about how you got involved with these indicator releases.
Sure. Well, I discovered Rollin when I was in my, I guess, early 20s in the mid 90s. It was right in that period where that book of Moral Tales had come out, and then Video Watchdog, the early Video Watchdog days. That's where I discovered him. I started reading mine first, and then I started collecting tapes from Video Search in Miami, and then Luminous and Midnight Video, and all those great companies. And yeah, I remember it was like 30. It was nearly $30 for a tape for Video Search in Miami, which was big money back then. I mean, it's still big money today for me at least. But
yeah. Did you have to pay the membership fee first, or did that? Was that
I
after?
remember. Oh God, I forgot. Oh God, the membership fee. I forgot about that. Yeah. You had to pay that membership.
To pay a membership fee to even get the catalog to order from them.
Yeah. And then their tapes were typically they had. I mean, you would just look through those catalogs and be like, I cannot believe they have all these movies. I just can't comprehend it. And then you get the tapes, and they were just like the most horribly dubbed. I mean, poorly, But but that's the period I discovered him, and so I originally discovered him via those blurry, dubbed over tapes. And
I can't remember which commentary it was, but you went into like detail about how you were getting all these tapes, and I remember I was listening to that, and I was like, I think people forget how difficult this was back in the day, and how expensive it was.
It was me. I had a buddy named Dave who was into this stuff, and we would like go half and half on these tapes, and then we would just dub a copy for the other one, and we would have two copies, because I mean, because otherwise we wouldn't have been able to afford them, especially like Video Search and I think Midnight were both like, I mean, they were close to $30. And I remember when the Rollin
and Midnight, I think was 25 each. I remember. Yeah.
I mean, that was good. That was good money back then. And
yes, it was for not even a pre-record. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Right. But I remember when Video Search put out the Rollin, they had like clamshell boxes with these, the artwork where they were just photocopy artwork and put it in. And then you did those little introductions. Those were like 32 or something. So anyway, but my buddy and I would go in half and half, and then you would inevitably find companies that weren't as expensive. Like I think there was one like Trash Palace or something like that.
I remember Trash Palace. Video Screams was also cheaper.
Yeah, Video Screams and European Trash cinema.
Yeah, they were affordable too.
Yep. So it was just a matter of like finding stuff and then going to video stores and looking in like the old movie aisles and trying to find like European titles that have been the American cuts of them. And that's how the first time I saw like the Edwidge Finch Giallo movies were like those American VHS. And you would just find them in the store and you would just be holding them like, oh my God, I cannot believe, I'm going to get to home and go and watch this. And now, you're online, you see a movie on Letterboxd or whatever you want to see. And then 5 minutes later, you're on some website finding it and you're good to go. So it's a very different world. But I'm very jealous of the people, like younger people that get to experience these types of films for the first time via these HD releases. Like, I mean, that's just mind blowing.
This film we're about to talk about, this one looks, I think of the indicator releases I've seen them all, I think this one, it benefits the most from the restoration. Like the gel lighting in this one really pops off. And I think it was on the commentary for Requiem. Troy Howarth was talking about how, those early VHS releases looked like, it was faded. You could hardly see any of the color. So this indicator release looks pretty incredible.
Yeah. And it's funny. I remember I would get each one of those releases, and each time you would think, oh man, the film looks so good now. It's just, the first DVD, I'm like, I can't believe it looks this good. And then it just but now after the indicator, it's like, oh, okay. Yeah, it really does look
a brand new experience.
Yeah.
I mean, totally. And I've said this before, not to sound like old man yells at cloud, but like, y'all don't know how hard it was to see these in good quality. But also I think it's very telling. That's when I see people who are new to these films, these specific Rollin films, and they will review them and be like, it was all right. And I'm like,
have some respect.
Yeah, how you don't know how hard it was to get these looking this good.
Yeah.
And that kind of speaks to, I think, his cult following, even when we were watching them in some of the least appealing transfers, we still knew that they were special. And so that still came through. My favorite, one of my favorites is still Night of the Hunted, which people still, I feel people still aren't coming around on that. But like, I cry at the end of that movie. Like,
yeah, that's
you know,
actually
I just like,
that's actually my second or third favorite. That one, it's right there with the Iron Rose.
Another good one. Yeah, I love that one.
My two favorites, but Night of the Hunted keeps rising for me. I love that one.
It's so good.
I love
Yeah, I mean,
to think that, great.
Yeah, but to think that that was just like, I think it was just it was like an experiment. Like, well, I don't want to make a sex movie. I'll make a movie with these sex movie people, and just give them a chance to do something. And like everyone's good in it. It's just, and then that's my favorite of his long walks too. The walk away from the camera with these two doomed people. It's just like it's so devastating. And I'm glad that the reputation on that is I think the reputation of that also is because it's one of his only films that has like no real horror elements to it. It's more of like a really weird dystopian, almost sci-fi thing. And so I feel like people were like, well, it doesn't have zombies or vampires or anything in it, but neither does Iron Rose, really. Iron Rose is kind of like the disintegration of this woman in one night at the cemetery, and she's amazing in it too. So I think my favorites are the ones that have these really incredible central women. Living Dead Girl is kind of the same way. I think Francoise Bouchard is incredible in that. Yeah. But yeah.
No, I completely agree.
Long detour into raving about.
Well, what was your first, Casey? What was your first one that you
first, sacrilege. My first was this one. And I was kind of like, this is it. Okay, this is not what I was expecting, because I think, and you might agree with me, is that, I mean, his name was, the Rollin name was whispered about in like hushed tones, like, oh, he's a master, oh, he's great, and whispered about in the same breath as people like Argento and Bava and Fulci. Not at all like those people at all. Like, no. So I think going in, you're expecting like, well, I love Deep Red and Suspiria and like, and Blood and Black Lace and stuff. And then you go in to see like Requiem for a Vampire. It's like, okay, well, there's some vampires, and it's like it's much more of like an art piece, tone poem. And so it wasn't until I saw Fascination, and that blew me away. And I was like, I need to go back, because I think I kind of get what Rollin is trying to do and what his films are. And then I rewatched it, and I was like, oh, okay. It clicked. It just it took like a couple of things, and that and Grapes of Death also kind of was like, okay, he can do something with pacing and more story, but I almost prefer the ones with no story, really.
Well, I don't think it helped that those redemption releases, the way those were marketed towards
with Eileen
the cover art, and some of those intro. What was that notorious like Salvation or Redemption intro with like the boobs and girls, and
skip through it.
Yes.
You couldn't go to the main menu. You had to sit there and watch it. And I remember that. I was just like, what is this?
Yeah, that was again, we had to deal with it. It's kind of like, like Gentry. I think Gentry was, there was something you and Alex were watching. It was a Nick Millard movie that Media Blasters or maybe After Hours put out. And they're like, oh, this has like new people on the cover. I was like,
yeah.
That's how you get people in. I mean, in private screenings, you do that too. With like old 70s movies, they would slap contemporary models on the VHS covers. Like, come in, like, come see this new movie. Not at all. Not at all. It's just that kind of hoodwinking is a lost art form, so to speak. Yeah. You can't get away with that anymore.
The whole Rollin journey has been really interesting for me to watch, because I think so. I heard about Rollin probably in the early aughts, and it was through. Do you guys remember Flickr? That website? It was like a photo website.
Yes.
So Flickr was almost like a pre-Tumblr in a way. So people would upload like screenshots that they took, screen captures, and there was kind of like a little movie community on there. And I had seen a bunch of Rollin stuff on Flickr from this lady in New Orleans who was like obsessed with him, and she was capturing all these screenshots. So that's how I heard of him. And now I feel like kids are seeing him on Criterion Channel,
There's a whole collection. Yeah.
So it's wild.
It is wild. Yeah. What was your first movie, Gentry? Do you remember that you saw?
I think mine was Grapes of Death. which I still have a special place in my heart.
I love
for.
that. I love that one. Yeah.
It's a good entry point, really, and that kind of the beginning of the Brigitte.
Yep.
Era where it's like, oh, okay. he's found a new muse.
Yeah,
because you can't forget, and it's also a nice reference to Barbara Steele with the dogs.
That whole sequence is just it's just jaw dropping. It's just what.
So how'd you get involved with these indicators, Jeremy?
I guess right before, or I guess several months before they announced the project, they reached out to me and just asked if I'd want to be involved, and I'm like, yeah. I mean, obviously, I'd done the little blog about Rollin that I'd done for quite a while, and I'd never got an invite, to do anything on a release. So that connected to Rollin, so I was really thrilled. And so I got 3 commentaries: Thrill of Vampires, Fascination, and then I just did Grapes of Death. So I'm just so incredibly honored, to be involved and to have my name on those releases. That's just incredible. I really feel like, and I know it's way down the line, but I just feel like when you get to have the opportunity and honor to be a part of any type of release like this, you become part of that film's history. I mean, you become part of that film's, maybe way down the line, but you become part of that film's post-production history. And it's just, to me, it's just really, really special. Like I just really value it a lot. So I've done the commentaries, and I don't know. I honestly don't know what other. I mean, I would love if they would do some more of his other more obscure films, but I'm not sure if they're going to. But it's been incredible to do.
Oh, so you don't have any? You don't have anything? Any secrets you can drop on us?
No,
Thanks for revealing the real reason we had you on.
We wanted to ask you if Killing Car and Sidewalks of Bangkok are coming out.
I will give you a little behind the scenes story though, that this just happened recently that I was really, really impressed by, just to show you how dedicated Indicator is to these releases and making them right. Is on my Grapes of Death commentary, I had made 2 little minor mistakes where I had misidentified a French press book as German, and I had misidentified the original German title, something that most listeners would probably not even pick up on or recognize, but they realized it and they contacted me and they said, "Hey, realize you made these minor errors. Do you want to patch it up?" And they gave me that opportunity.
Wait, you're saying that they actually reviewed your commentaries?
They caught it. That's
amazing.
I was so impressed.
We haven't had that happen yet, Gentry.
Because they're not listening to them before they publish them.
Well, I've never had anything like that. I haven't done as many of these as a lot of my peers, but the ones I've done, I've never had anybody. Yeah, I've done more than I've ever thought that I'd get a chance to, for sure. But I've never had a company reach out to me and say, "Hey, you messed up here. Do you want to fix it?" And I was so appreciative. Not so much because it was just 2 little mistakes. It wasn't so much that I would run into the woods hiding, but just that they caught it and they're that dedicated to making sure these releases are right. And I really think you can see it in the booklets that are with the limited editions. They're so detailed and sourced, and you can really tell this is a company trying to get it right. So I've had nothing but positive experiences with Indicator, and and they invited me back, which was awesome. Like typically I'll work with a company and then I won't hear anything again.
I hate that. That's crazy to me.
But no, Indicator's been great. Indicator and Cult Epics are the 2 that keep reaching out.
Right.
Of course, Cult Epics published my book, so that's a whole different thing.
Right.
But,
well, I keep waiting for a Lamarge with a Jeremy Richey commentary, honestly, because
maybe that's actually my dream, or to do anything video anything connected to Lamarge would be I'm so glad that people are finally able to see it via the Criterion and the import Blu-rays. And I've contacted Daniel Bird a few times, trying to see if he's got any info on a possible US release, but nothing as yet. It seems to me it's an ideal thing for Criterion, but I don't know.
Think. Yeah, I don't know if it's too erotic or something. I had never seen it until the Criterion Collection. I've had a DVD-R copy for years that I downloaded, but I finally was like, I'll watch this since it's here. And that was, I will admit, I'm not the biggest Sylvia Kristel fan. I was really blown away by her in that movie.
Yeah, she's great.
And I was like, this is what she was capable of. I want to see more of this level of Sylvia Kristel. And then I got mad because then I was like, why didn't people give her more to do like this? But that happens a lot.
It's kind of why I wrote my book.
I get mad about people not giving women in sexploitation work. We talk about that on the pod all the time. I'm like, I'm so mad at these people 50 years ago.
Oh my God, I mean, this is totally unrelated to anything, but Casey, I wanted to tell you that like amongst the recent home video releases, and really like of all time, the Roommates box set that finally came out that you're all over with those old features. That is to me one of the most special things. I waited years for that, and like to have it on, to have it in HD and to finally have your work with Veronica and Kelly. I mean, that I just wanted to say I'm so happy that that's finally out. And man, anytime I see your name on a release, I want to get that release because I mean you were the man as far as like adult history goes, and I
appreciate that. I try to get involved as much, and usually the stuff that I get involved with is stuff that I want to be involved with. So like if I'm involved with it, it's typically a sign of quality. Like I'm not, for example, I'm not on the Debbie Does Dallas release. I wonder why. Like there's stuff that I'm like, I'll pass, thanks. But that was one that I wanted to get Samantha Fox for, and unfortunately she passed away. I still have voicemails from her when I invited her to the screening where that Q&A was, and her New York accent had come back, and I really wanted to include those on the release just so people knew that she was around and they knew what she sounded like more recently before she passed away. Because it was really just, we played phone tag for years after that screening. We just never got to talk and never got to meet. But
the footage of that screening is incredible. Oh yeah, that's great. I mean, I bet that's just an amazing memory for you. That screening. That's really. It's just great that it was captured on tape and that's preserved. So sorry to interrupt everything. I just thought of that. I wanted to let you know. And congratulations you both on the Bunny Yeager. I'm so excited about that. I'm absolutely going to get that. So
check it out. We just talked about that in our little intro that we did before you came on. We kind of announced that to everybody. So
I'm stoked for it. I love her, and I love that period, and I've never seen those. So I'm really excited about it.
They're fun. For Barry Mahon movies, they're fun. I went in, and actually the restorations we mentioned, the restorations of them, the one Nude Camera completely changed my opinion on it. I was like, I remember this being really boring, but it's most of it is restored from a 16mm Kodachrome camera original, so it really pops, and so the color's good, and you get to see Bunny and Bud, which is great, and their relationship. So cool. I'm really excited about that release. Just even if I wasn't involved, to be like, okay, let's get the Bunny Yeager renaissance going, because that doc just came out. So
that's great. It's fantastic. I love it.
Some places possess an evil of their own, where the air is thick with the shrieks of tortured souls, where the earth tries to swallow every trace of those foolish mortals who dare trespass. Such a place is this forgotten chateau, for it is the domain of monstrous creatures more dead than alive, depraved walking corpses that perish with the sun, then rise again each night to ravish young maidens in a lust for blood.
Well, we kind of talked about our favorites, but where does this sit like nowadays for you guys? What do you think about Requiem? Because let me just go first. Like personally, I didn't love it at first either, but every time I watch it, I kind of like it a little bit more. I don't know if...
Well, for me, like I said, I think if my memory serves, it was the film that introduced me to Rollin. I think it was the first video search tape that I ever got. And so it's always had kind of a very special place to me.
Right.
I have to admit, though, like as the years have gone by, films like Night of the Hunted and Iron Rose and Grapes of Death too. Grapes of Death is one of my absolute favorites. Those films have kind of gone more to the top of the list. It's a Requiem sort of fallen down, but I would say Requiem's still top 5, top 6 or so. I mean, it's still one of my favorites for sure.
Yeah.
I think it has aged really well because I've been doing a long-term Letterboxd rewatching of all the Something Weird stuff, and so I was in the
Novaks
category of the catalog, and so I was making my way through, and I think it's probably right now. I think it's like a top 5 release that he handled for me.
I've seen your list of the Novak ranking. I don't think you should even include it.
Oh, I mean, I definitely am. Because anything that he actually legitimately released, I will. Anything that he claims he released is a little iffier for me to include. Yeah. But he definitely handled this. I mean, he handled it, as you noted, into the 80s. It was getting theatrical play, which is crazy when you think about how very 70s this film is. Yeah, there is nothing it's not like a period piece vampire film where you could see maybe that would something that feels a little more timeless. This doesn't feel timeless. It feels very of its time.
Yeah, I really love it. It's got that really post hippie freak kind of feel about it. It's got that. I mean, it is very specific to its time. And I was reading your notes, Gentry, and I didn't know it had played up until the mid '80s in some spots. And I mean, that's crazy to me. Like, I can't imagine stumbling into a drive-through and seeing that in the mid '80s just unexpectedly with what
I'm sure there were kids that were like sick of seeing this film at their drive-in at some point, or like, oh, I've seen this one like 5 times. I couldn't get over.
I uploaded a photo earlier to the docs that I was curious about where it had played in Kentucky, and it actually played on a couple double bills with The Stars Born at a theater in Glasgow, Kentucky. The 1976 version, there's an ad for Stars Born, and in the corner it says, plus second screening, Caged Virgins.
So I could see Pony Castell and Barbara Streisand on the same
which to me is pretty epic.
Honestly, I mean, I prefer Pony. I like Barbara, but give me Pony. I love the Castell sisters. Yeah.
I do too. Yeah. I think that was another thing too, that like the cast of this, in Pony Castell, even though it was just her in this one, it was soon after that I saw the two of them, and it was just, they're still so evocative and fun, and they're sweet. I mean, like I was actually watching Requiem this morning, just as I was kind of reading some notes and stuff, and or had it on, and I just look up, and she just had the sweetest face, and just there's just a real charm to those kind of early erotic moments in the film. They're just so playful, and I love the shot where she comes around the corner to the food truck or whatever that they're going to rob. It looks like a mailman's, and I'm just, I don't know. It's just so nobody else but Jean Rollin would. I mean, it's just so bizarre and perfect.
I think that's why he liked them so much, the twins, because they could be like, innocent and sexual at the same time. It was never really, but it was never. It doesn't come off as vulgar. And which
totally
doesn't. That's not Rollon's mode, but which is also weird, because then if you deep dive enough and you see Rollon's hardcore stuff, then you see her and it's like, wait, what are you doing here, Pony? You shouldn't be doing this.
Well, I just keep thinking about how odd that must have been for him after working with them in softcore. I don't ever see Rollin having like a fatherly attitude towards any of the women he worked with. It really felt like more of like a protector vibe, or like he likes collaborating with them because they understood each other. I think Brigitte was like a big example of that too, but also the same thing. He shot Brigitte in hardcore and then gave her opportunities in his standard release films. But it is just make me wonder, like, what is that mindset where you're going to see these people that you've worked with and directed and acting, and now you have to kind of direct, quote unquote, them while they're having sex on camera? I don't know that transition.
Yeah, there's all those stories that, he didn't direct the hardcore scenes. So maybe those were the scenes he walked away from and let someone else take care of because he couldn't do it emotionally.
Yeah. Well, he seemed like a very sensitive guy, and you can kind of tell from the films. I think there's a sensitivity there for him as a filmmaker. And even in interviews, I think he's a very sensitive person. So that's what I think about in terms of his work, where it's like, well, how he already kind of had issues making these films just because they weren't what he wanted to be doing, but then to be working with people that he liked working with and collaborating on non-hardcore stuff. And now did he feel like they were having to slum along with him? Like, I don't know if he ever went on record about that, but it always made me wonder.
Yeah, and I agree. There's the sensitivity to his films, and there's a level of respect too that I sense. Like, I really feel like he had a respect for the people that he worked with, and I said that's a good question. I wonder too how it felt when because he obviously, the hardcore films, they weren't what he really wanted to be doing at the time. They were more of a financial thing, and I don't know. It must have been bizarre though for the people that he'd worked with previously to suddenly be like, okay, now we're doing this.
Well, with Brigitte, at least, like, she started and she was doing hardcore before she met Jean, so that's different. I feel like, the Castell sisters, I don't think that they were, as far as I know.
No, I don't believe so.
I think they were just models, right?
Yeah. I mean, it was yeah, it was more towards the mid seven, like
Yeah.
a few years
think,
after Requiem that I think they did.
I
Their
think
first.
Pony had said like they had done like dancing, like maybe some stripping and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't think that they had done like hardcore movies before.
But I remember the first time that I saw one of their some of their hardcore, and it was bizarre. Like it really threw me. Like kind of like you said earlier, I was just like, wow, this feels really like I don't know, it was bizarre. It still kind of is, because I love them so much from these films, and and not that I look, obviously, and Casey knows this, I don't look down on people in hardcore films. I mean, I love them dearly, but it's just so bizarre seeing the juxtaposition is weird. Yeah.
Right. Well, I think because when you think, I think you and I are similar, and there are other people that are similar. It's like, well, we don't see women who make these films as porn stars. We see them as women, and we see them as people. Yeah. And so it's like there's a story there of why they did it. And so everyone's story is different. But with the Kristel sisters, it makes you wonder, like, we know that for one of them, their life did not end well. And then the other one, they actually both kind of had hard lives, but one passed before the other. And so it does make you think, like, I feel like maybe they didn't want to be doing this and they had to. It's very different from talking like Veronica Hart, where it was an intentional decision.
Oh, sure.
Kelly Nichols, Samantha Fox, roommates. It's intentional decisions. And the Kristels, of course, an intentional decision, but also just kind of like, but why?
Yeah, like, it really is. And you read about the actresses in that period who stopped acting because they didn't want to do it, and some that worked with Rollin early on. And so you wonder about the ramifications for the people that didn't want to be signed on, that just felt like to keep working, which is really, I guess what it came down to, is changing of times in the industry. But the French film industry was just like moving. When porn opened up for the theaters, it was like you got to get on board. Or I saw some astounding. I can't remember where. It was something I read the other, like an astounding statistic about how many adult films were made in France in a certain period, and it was just like this mind-blowing number. And it's like, oh, I've got a ways to go. I mean, there's a lot of these films out there to see. It's wild how profitable it was and everything.
Until they started taxing it, and it was like ghettoized and pretty much killed it. Killed the industry.
Yeah. I focus on specific directors when it comes to the French adult stuff. And so, like Claude Mulot, who didn't really make that many. And then you realize, there are all these other directors who made tons of stuff that I've never seen and probably never will, because they just made it one after the other. American hardcore is kind of the same way. It's like, Damiano didn't make that many compared to someone like Leonard Kurtman, who made a ton of stuff.
I'm the same way, and I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure this is your influence, Casey. But with directors, I'm the same way. That's really how I start with. Like, I'll find a director, and then I want to like work on that director. Like, Mulot is a great example. Like, I've been trying to collect all those films.
He's great. I love his stuff.
They're incredible. Yeah, I mean, they're just so beautifully photographed, and the actors are amazing. And speaking of, I don't know if you guys have the Films of Marilyn Jess book from Pulse, but there's a great chapter about her work with Rollin, one of the adult films he made in there, that kind of talks about his involvement on the set and what he was like on the set. And and it kind of felt like, reading the descriptions, it was the same as on the softcore sets, as far as like how protective he was and how kind, and just, again, the level of respect. It didn't really seem like, I don't want to name any names, but there are certain, there's certain male directors throughout the years who haven't been, as respectful.
Yeah, Mulot's getting some stuff put out. I know, who put out Mondo Macabro put out Sins of the Flesh, which I watched recently, and I think someone.
We need Pussy Talk. We need Le Sexe qui Parle. We absolutely need Mais Nuit Avec, blah blah blah, aka Kinky Ladies of Bourbon Street. Which that's another one. Distripix has that, and Bill Lustig has been begging them to put it out for maybe a decade now. We have another.
I just saw that for the first time. I just saw it the first time for years ago. I mean, it was like my favorite film of that year that I saw. Like, I love that film so much. I was totally blown away by it.
Haunting.
I agree.
It's just absolutely haunting. The whole movie centered around all these women in a cemetery and their voices, voices of their ghosts, and it's just like this is a hardcore film. Like, this is made for to sexually please audiences, and it's like, and it ends with these haunting moans of these voices from the cemetery. I'm just like, this is something really special. This is not arousing in the least. but masterpiece, and that's because it's Mulot, you know.
Yeah,
So.
I didn't know the distributed pics had that. That's incredible.
Yeah, they have the
Yeah,
original US negative.
I wish
Yeah,
Steven,
so I'm
you
like,
need to, yeah,
yeah,
that would be incredible.
because the version I've seen is the Alpha France version. I think that's cut, so I haven't ever seen it uncut.
Yeah.
I've only seen it with missing footage, and
Yeah, those Alpha France releases are so frustrating because what they release is beautiful and restored, but then they cut, and I'm just like, why? Why are you?
I know.
Why are you?
It's not VHS. You don't have to fit it onto a 2-hour.
Yeah, I don't get it. It's
we have dual layer DVDs now. You can do this. This is fine.
Yeah, and people are interested in these films outside. You know, I mean, historians and it's crazy. I'm so grateful for all of the stuff that's coming out, though. Like on the Mescaline site, and I probably mispronounced it. I'm sorry, but I'm just like
even Steven mispronounces it. Don't worry.
Okay,
no,
cool.
I do too.
Yeah, I mispronounce everything. But yeah, I mean, every time there's a new announcement on that site, I'm just like, oh my god, what's this going to be? Because I just never thought I would see these films looking not like they came out of a garbage can. You know, I mean, that's just really it's great. It's just great,
right? And then on the alternate side, then it's kind of like I have a case of DVDs that are either VHS rips or from old out of print DVDs, and I'm like, okay, so I have these titles still that need to be restored. So then it makes me think, like, I want everything to look this way. I want everything to look this gorgeous. It's just not going to happen. So yeah, but it makes me very grateful for what we do have when it does happen. I'm like, okay, good. Now people can see how good these movies are.
Yeah, sometimes we bitch on this podcast about stuff that's not being put out.
Every episode,
with my dog every day. I'm just like,
because we're passionate about it. We want, and you know what it is? It's also we want more people to experience the joy that we do and have access 100%. To these films, because if we love it this much and it makes us feel this happy to experience it as film lovers, then you will too. If you could just have access to it, really.
100%. Yeah, I just get so excited about because right now I'm like being introduced to so many films that I've never seen before and new directors that I've not heard of, and I mean it's exciting. Like I've been trying to watch films from different countries that I'm just trying to branch out because I'm getting more and more freaked out by like our current political environment, and I just feel like eventually they're going to start coming for art and you know, and they already
we've had someone tell us that. Yeah, who was it? I think John Charles told us that. He was like, I support everything because I'm afraid that it's going to go away, and I want to support every release because I'm afraid that something's going to happen. I'm like, you're not wrong.
I have the same fear. I'm really scared. Yeah. So right now I'm just like, every time something gets restored, I'm just like, okay, yes, we've got that one, you know, so let's keep,
I think that's a healthier mindset. Jen Teresa should probably do that. That's way healthier than losing our minds over like, where's All American Girl?
I do the same thing. It gets me so, I guess because Criterion is supposed to be the label of like important films and just some, I mean, I know not all of their announcements are going to be personally for me, but some of them I'm just like, what?
Who's this for?
Yeah, who is this for? Why is the major studio that released it not just putting it out? Why are
it's for somebody that's going to buy it no matter what, just so that they can have all the numbered spines on their bookshelf.
Yeah.
Which I can't be like that anymore. I used to be like that with Something Weird and Vinegar Syndrome, and I was like, you know what? There's just too much stuff I'm not going to like or ever watch again. And space is at a premium, and I have to budget myself.
Yeah. It kind of drives me crazy, those numbers, because I'm not a collector, but I'm OCD. So when I have I like I can kind of see my Radiance releases from here, and I can see that they're not all there, and it kind of makes me nuts.
Crazy.
But but it is what it is. I'm broke, and I don't have the money for
I know. Well, the indicator roll-ons are like that. I like the numbers of the indicator roll-ons. There are still some that I need.
Yeah,
they're not all going to be in the same order, but I can at least put them together in that sequence of numbers.
Man, I love those boxes. They're just so cool.
I do too.
Gorgeous, so great. Yeah,
I can't remember which they were, but Jeremy, do you have the first couple boxes they put out that are a little taller than the other ones? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think I'm looking up at them right now. I think actually, my Thrill of the Vampires looks a little taller up there. I don't know if that was one of the first ones or not.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah,
that's funny.
I think it was. Yeah.
Well, at the same time, so we were talking about I think we should just be, I don't know how these are selling. You know, I'm not in tune with indicators marketing.
I hope well.
But
Me
Yeah,
too.
we should
Yeah.
just be happy that they're putting this much like effort and money
Oh
into
yeah.
them. I have a friend that I talk to about Roland as well, and she's always complaining about how slow Indicator is to put these things out. And I'm just like, yeah, sure, they might be funding each release based on the last release because that's just how they have to operate. But let's just be happy they're being put out.
Right.
I'm always mystified by what's going on behind the scenes at these companies and how many copies are actually selling and how they manage to keep going. And it's just a mystery to me. Like even, I mean, I've seen a little bit behind the scenes, with my publisher and so forth, but yeah, it's completely baffling to me. Like I'm so grateful when they manage to keep going.
Well, I'm also thinking about, I don't know, because if you're restoring these for UHD, for 4K, which honestly, I never thought I would have Rollin on these because it's been a thing for years that the elements aren't in great shape. This is the best we're going to get. So we really have seen it grow from these horrible they were official technically, Video Stores in Miami tapes and then all the way to the UHD. So some of us have been around for this entire period where we've been able to see this massive glow up. But I can't imagine that getting those restorations to 4K are like quickly done. I don't imagine. I think there's a lot of work that has to be done for some of these, and there's some that we might never get on 4K. I think Sidewalks of Bangkok is one that I'm hesitant to get excited about. I'm dying to see it because I think Roland has raved about the Asian star of that, the actress in that, and I'm dying to see it because everything I've read about it has been great. But yeah, the Redemption thing is out of print, and I don't think it ever came out on Blu-ray. Did it?
No, I don't
think it did.
Like,
so
I love that one.
Yeah, so that makes me nervous that there's nothing there to use, or maybe it is further down the line because it is not a dynamite Roland title that everyone knows.
Yeah.
It's not a horror title.
Yeah. I was thinking maybe they could group like that one and Lost in New York. Some of those, maybe they could group a couple of those together just as a Blu-ray release, maybe, even if they can't get a UHD out of it. Because Lost in New York, I think was shot on. I don't know if it was shot. I don't think it was shot on, but I don't see them getting that restored for any sort of 4K.
No,
UHD
I don't think so.
Right.
Right. So, but I really like those weird 80s films that he made. I mean, they're part of his story too, so I hope they keep going, but I have no idea.
Right.
But,
Yep, I agree. What about Zombie Lake? Do you think Indicator is going to put that out?
Lord. I thought the rights are still with Image or Kino on that, are they not?
I don't know.
Who put that out on Blu-ray?
I remember I had a buddy, he was actually the cousin of my movie buddy Dave, and he just loved Zombie Lake. Like he would just go on and on. And I know Zombie Lake has like these fans that they just love it. They just love that. And that's one film I've tried. I mean, I've watched it and I just sit there like, oh my God, I can't. That and there was another one that company put out right around that time that I've got the soundtracks, and the soundtracks are weird as hell. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I just remember my buddy.
I think they should. I bet it'll probably sell better than all the others.
It probably would.
Don't say that.
Yeah.
I don't hate Zombie Lake. I mean, if you're gonna watch an underwater zombie movie, Shockwaves is better. Just stick with Shockwaves. Shockwaves is a masterpiece compared to this. Yeah.
But does Shockwaves have Howard Vernon? I don't think so.
No, but it has Brooke Adams, who's amazing. Yeah. And Peter Cushing, who's amazing.
Oh yeah. People complain about Roland's films being slow, but Zombie Lake actually is, to me, Zombie Lake is actually slow. Like, I mean, it's people complain about Roland's other films, but they're not slow to me. But Zombie Lake to me is it feels
yeah, there's lots of discussions in that like office room. I remember in Zombie Lake, there's just like lots of talking in that office.
I love the history behind. I mean, I love the idea that both Roland and Franco worked on it in some capacity, and I mean that's wild. And yeah, I mean, but
they're such different filmmakers.
Yeah, oh my God, yeah. It was, you mentioned like Fulci and Argento earlier. I mean, that's how it was like in the 90s when we started. There were these like directors that would come up, and you would start collecting these tapes, and then like the Italians were similar. Like you could get a real vibe for them, like Argento and Fulci and the music, but then you'd discover somebody like Roland, and it would just be something completely different and separate. So you would have to just
I think only recently people have figured out Roland. Like for the longest time, is like, wait, is he a horror director? Is he a vampire movie maker? He's not really any of those, He's
Yeah, no, I never describe him as a horror. I mean, I know he made. I mean, Grapes of Death is. I mean, pretty close. I mean, it's a horror
close,
film,
yeah.
I mean, close, yeah.
It's probably his most
But
commercial
yeah,
esque
yeah,
film, right? I mean, it's not.
yeah,
It's least Rollin esque, whatever that means. I keep hearing that a lot, but yeah, it feels more commercial than his other stuff.
yeah. But I just his films are just Jean Rollin films to me. Like
Mhm.
I don't
Yeah.
know. It's just hard to. Yeah, kind of like Elaine Roulet, like his films. Like they're just so
Yes.
specific to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Another Immoral Tales director.
Yeah, no, totally. I keep going back to that book. Like
But
that book was just it
very
just
important
introduced me
book.
to yeah, it just introduced you hear everybody mentioning that book. I mean, it was like
Yep.
just so important. Yeah.
That was a Laraz entry. That was my introduction to
Yeah,
to
Laraz is in
Laraz
there.
through
Oh my
that too.
God.
That's why and it took years for me to see Violation of Sin until Arrow put it out, and I'd seen that still for years.
Oh, that
So
with the
the
horse and
woman and the horse, and I was
yeah,
like,
oh
this
my
movie's gonna be crazy, right? And I watched it, and I was like, no, this is actually like this is such a great. It has such great tone to it, and such great.
yeah.
Yeah, it's I love that movie.
I hope
Um,
that young people discovering these films still like read. I hope they still see stills like that they like
mhm.
that they think, oh my God, what is that? Is that an actual movie that was
Yeah.
made? And I need to, I mean, because I remember that you would just see images and be like, wow, that looks just like something that's not even possible that it was made, but there it is. The
Mhm.
Beast, the Borovchik's The Beast. I remember
Ah,
seeing images
yes.
from that and just being like, Jesus Christ, what is this? And yeah,
I
I
know.
mean,
And sometimes it lives up to it and sometimes it doesn't, but that's
yeah,
part of the
That's true.
100%.
journey.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I feel like Roland has a lot of films like that where like you'll see one still and be like, oh, I have
Yeah.
to see this. Well, obviously
He has
Brigitte with
so
the
many like
scythe
that.
and Fascination, I think, is one. I think that Francoise Blanchard with her bloody
Oh yeah.
fingers on the piano is another.
Well, and from
Um,
Requiem is the Muriel in the dug grave, that image of her like
yes.
kind of splayed
Yeah.
out.
I
Yeah.
like her a lot too, by the way. I don't know
She's
much
great.
about her, but I think
Mhm.
she's just great in this film. And she's just really charming too.
She's the clown girl, yeah.
The
She
clown
is.
girl.
They're very
Yeah.
well matched. They're very well matched. I think the casting was
Yeah.
really good. They really go well together.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it wasn't going to be the twins, I think, and also that's something interesting I always like I like when he cast the twins, but I like the idea of the two girls. I like,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
and I think that's aged really well too. I think, in terms of viewing movies in like 2026, where it's kind of like women supporting women. So it's like there's always a girl there helping. There's always two
Yeah.
women there together helping each other out,
No, yeah. Again, yeah, I agree. I agree.
Well, two orphan vampires, I've noticed even since I've been following Verlon, that one is a big favorite amongst a lot of young people that
Really?
discover it. Yep. I have
Huh.
seen it happen in my lifetime. Like it's been
Interesting.
rediscovered. And I mean, if you look on Letterboxd, like people, it's maybe their only Verlon they've seen and they love it. So
Wow.
Really?
Well,
you never know what's going to connect with people.
yeah, yeah. No,
interesting.
well, that's wild. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's cool that there are different periods of his career that are connecting people. I think that's great.
Yeah. And that was actually one of the first ones that Indicator put out too. That was kind of weird. I was like, wait, this is
Yeah.
one of the first ones they're going to put out? Okay, sure.
Yeah. Might have been
Yeah.
easier to restore because it's a more recent title.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Did they put out
It's-
Fiance of Dracula already?
No, they've not put that one out yet.
Oh, they
Or
have not.
the
Okay.
Mask of Medusa. That's another like real
Right.
late one.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've never really warmed up to Two Orphan Vampires very much, but maybe I
Yeah,
should
me
give it
neither.
another watch now.
It's a very
Yeah.
blue film, very blue.
That
Yeah,
4K restoration might convince me that
Maybe, yeah.
I've said that multiple times. Sometimes a restoration can really change your mind on stuff. It just something if it's done right and you're able to see everything and it's really nice. You can see the texture of things and appreciate the lighting more and the framing. Yeah, maybe I'll like it more. I don't know.
Maybe.
I remember having an issue with the casting. I think it was because I love the two girl trope and I just didn't like those two girls.
Yeah.
I think was the problem I had, but maybe revisiting, I like them. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree. It seems like later he had more, I think, trouble finding the exact perfect, because like early on, like I just feel like his films are so perfectly cast. Like I don't know where he found some of these people. I mean, they're just so perfectly strange and awesomely weird. I just love his cast. But later on, it was like he couldn't quite find the right people.
I think his circle, he didn't have that circle of people that he had been working with. Yeah.
Kind of like, if you watch like Fulci's stuff that he had to do in the late 80s, early 90s, to compare it to just 10 years before. And it's just not that I'm comparing, you know what I mean?
I think it was that Fabrizio De Angelis connection. I think he was able to get better people with the Fabrizio.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the Fabrizio did it all, because a lot of those people show up in his later stuff without Fulci too.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Yeah, but I think that's interesting. I think, and that's something I feel like maybe not a lot of people talk about with Rollin, because of the technical aspects of it and, the thematic aspects of it. I think it is important to note how well he cast in a lot of his stuff. I mean, and again, but it's also interesting to note, like, even in this, where, Pony Castel she doesn't necessarily outshine Mireille d'Argent, but I think she tends to get more attention. I think Fascination is similar, where it's like, well, we remember Brigitte, the other girl maybe not so much, because he gives Brigitte the sight scene, and the other girl doesn't get that. So it is interesting how sometimes it feels a little lopsided, but they're all good. It's just it's interesting how that turns out that way sometimes with the two girl trope. Yeah. And Francoise Plechard, I think people forget Marina Pero is in that. I mean, she's great in it too, but
which is wild, because she was Borovchik's, music, at the time, and some of the,
she's very well established.
But yeah, and I agree. Blanchard in that film she's my favorite part of The Living Dead Girl. Like, her performance in that is just devastating. Yeah. But yeah, he had a great eye for casting, and like, he had a real sense of, like, I think who the stars were in his films, you know what I mean? Like, who the real, I think really, really something. Yeah.
Although most prisons have bars, they can also hold their captives by other means.
We've come back to the chateau. This way.
Some cages exist solely in the mind. They are often the most escape-proof traps of all.
Hey, Gentry, how did Annie Bell, do you, like, in your research, when she came on Lips of Blood, like, do you know anything about that? I mean,
what's your question specifically?
He's ready with his essay.
Tell me everything you know, Gentry, about. No, did they, I don't think I've read much about did they get along? They
got along, but Rollin was, she was very young, and so Rollin was like, I'm dealing with this kind of immature girl. I loved working with her. She was a professional, but she also was hard to wake up in the mornings, because she had been out all night partying and going to clubs and doing young girl stuff, But yeah, they got along well.
Yeah, no, I love that she got to appear or got to be part of his filmography, because I just think she's great. Yeah.
Oh, she's an important part of his filmography, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, to me, Lips of Blood is like, it's not necessarily one of my favorites, but it's like, to me, it's just one of the big ones. It's one of like the big Rollin titles. I've actually got the I don't know if you guys have ever seen the Suck Me Vampire alternate version of that.
I have a DVD-R of it, but I haven't watched it.
You probably got the same version I have. It looks terrible. If you want to like take a trip back in time to the Video Search of Miami days, pop that in. It looks really, really rough, but it's so bizarre watching something so like poetic and lyrical.
I know, like bastardized into that.
Kind of a ghettoized, because it's not very. I mean, maybe part of it's the print I have, but yeah, it just seems like kind of a downgrade of the film completely. So it's bizarre.
Oh yeah. That one, that one feels like it hurt Rollin. That one,
I'm sure. Yeah.
To have such a personal. I mean, Lips of Blood has his son in it, and now you're going to turn that into a porno. Like, that's rough.
I mean, I suspect, and I tried to talk about that some on the Grapes of Death commentary, like just how disappointing it must have been to see Lips of Blood and The Iron Rose just completely discarded and
just bombed. Well, they bombed at the box office.
Yeah, and I'm still. Like I'll go back and read, like when I was writing my book. I mean, I obviously some of those reviews were just you go back in time and read reviews of things, and you're just like, how did you not see certain things? And I think that about Rollin a lot. Like the critics and the audience, like, how did you not see this? Like, what was it that was blocking your your vision to see it's just crazy to me.
Yeah.
I do that with my own reviews sometimes too.
Oh,
I'm just like, what the hell was wrong with you? What who's shitting your Wheaties that morning before you wrote this review?
Yeah, no, I get so cranky on some of my Letterboxd reviews about things, and I'm sure if I go back and watch, I would be like, man, you gotta, yeah. What was your problem?
You gave something 1 star recently, and I was like, oh, I haven't seen Jeremy in like sports mode in a while.
I get fired up sometimes.
Rare. It's very rare. You usually don't do 1 stars. Yeah.
I had to go see Wuthering Heights with my mom recently, and that just really
that might have been what it was.
That bugged me a lot. It's like what? Yeah, I don't do well. I've pretty much stopped. I just don't watch I hardly watch any modern American movies, and I've just turned my attention. I just really want to discover more and more international films.
Same.
And especially like right now, my feelings towards America are so it's just a hard time, So I really have been grateful to like just keep discovering more and more films made outside of this culture and so forth. If that makes sense.
What did Michael Bowen tell us a couple weeks ago? He was like, "Yeah, I don't watch a lot of new movies, but they'll find me if they're good enough. One day, these new movies will find me." I like that.
Right. They'll eventually make your way in front of your eyeballs. That's very true. But for international cinema right now is like, I don't know what was I thinking about this recently? Oh, I was watching some film from the 70s. Oh, it was 3 Days of the Condor, which I hadn't seen ever. And I remembered, America was really going through a lot of turmoil in the 70s. And we had people like Kukula and Pollock and like filmmakers that were still working within the studio system that were still making films that were like daring and challenging. And it's like, and nobody working within the studio system, whatever the fuck it is now, is doing that. It's all about being commercial and appealing to the almighty dollar. And it's like, you don't get little personal movies like that. And so, but you know who's still doing that? Directors in other countries. Like you have movies like Parasite and No Other Choice, and like, and the films from Iran. And I mean, we have so many good films that we're lucky come out in this country at all. But that also is why I keep going back to like Rollin, it's very unlike anything made in America at that time, and it still stands up really well too.
Yeah. No, I've been trying more and more to find, because I don't want to like lose complete touch with modern cinema. Like I really don't. Like I don't want it to be a complete hole in my film knowledge. So I am trying to discover more international films and filmmakers. Yeah. So I love Letterboxd. Like I really love hopping on there and seeing what other people are watching, and and the recommendations I can get. And I don't know what's going on with American cinema right now. Like I don't, and I have arguments with people about it, and they're like, everything's fine. It's all, and I'm like, I don't think it is. I just I don't think it's fine.
No, I feel, and we don't have enough American filmmakers we don't have enough American filmmakers violently coming out against AI. We have way too much complacency with this. That's just one example I can think of like, guys, this is not what we should be doing right now. Yeah, you should be meeting them. Let's meet the moment, please. Yeah.
I think about the directors that I loved when I was younger, the American directors that I loved when I was younger in the 90s, and they're just not stepping up. Yeah, I just hate it. I just want one of these guys to speak out and like be. I mean, they could. There's so much. There's so much modern directors and filmmakers could be doing right now. They could be forming an alliance. They could be making. I mean, there's just so much they could be, and they're just not doing it at all. And it's just it's disappointing. It's really I've lost a lot of faith in a lot of people that I used to like and and admire. And
it's like every single week there's like a new merger happening. It's just like movies aren't being made by individuals anymore. They're being made by like a committee.
Correct. Yeah. That's why I can continue to find enriching moments with film by going backwards, which is, that's not necessarily what I want to be doing all the time, though. I'd like to be doing both. I'd like to be, going back and looking at, and also we've talked about on this podcast where going back and looking at sexploitation films from a certain era, like there's definitely there are certain elements of obviously being problematic, but there's also moments where it's like, oh wow, this is actually shockingly progressive and shockingly not problematic. Like there's a lot of interesting creativity going on here. And then you come back to 2026 and it's like, oh God, like people don't even want to talk about sex or show sex in film or show nudity or they're fretting about like intimacy coordinators. And like if you're not doing intimacy coordinators on every movie, then you basically forced your actors to have sex with each other and take their clothes off. And it's like there's nuance is lost. I think there's a lot of lack of nuance and layer. Yeah.
I really miss like adult cinema. Like I just miss it. I mean, like speaking of like Wuthering Heights is very much about kind of the director's sexual interests, but it's a film a lot of about sex, but it's no nudity. There's no like actual like human contact. I mean, there's nothing. It's just all surface, all false, all fake. And I like recently I got the first Mitchell Brothers releases. Releases. I was watching Behind the Green Door, and I'm just like, God damn, this is just so unbelievably progressive and just so inclusive. It was amazing. Like I had forgotten just how like representative of so many different lifestyles that film manages, and it's just awesome to see. And I'm just like, we have just gone so backwards. We've regressed so much. Yeah, and I find like I find myself like agreeing and aligning with younger people much more than people my age and obviously older. But one thing I really worry about, they've adopted a lot of like more conservative mindsets about like nudity and sex in films, and they don't realize that they're echoing these like backwards conservative hurtful things from years ago that are going to get people hurt. Like if you like start banning sex work and porn, and I mean, you're going to get people hurt. And it's upsetting. Like it's really depressing. I know a lot of like my younger, I'm sure they see like some of my Letterboxd reviews and some of the stuff I'm watching, and they're probably thinking, oh, what a freak for watching this. It's like,
that's what director Sean Baker gets all the time, because he's got a big fandom, and I've seen that under his comments all the time.
Why are you watching this?
Like, he must be your sicko, a freak. He's watching all these old sexploitation movies. Like, why are you watching this, Sean? It's like, well, maybe because he watches a little bit of everything,
Yeah, he does. He really does.
Because that's what you should be doing when you're a director.
It just it baffles me. Like people will say nothing about modern American films where you see, a million rounds of gunfire just wiping out people with no consequence, and nothing is ever said about that. But the minute there's any sexual content in a movie or nudity or anything, now it's just
it's a very American.
But Jeremy, those were arguments from like Gloria Leonard.
I know.
The Antichrist. We were hearing these arguments in the 80s.
I know. Yeah.
And I'm just like, why are we dealing with 80s Republicans again?
I know.
Why are we back in 80s Republican land? And I've said that I haunt the comment sections after maybe one too many beers. And I'll be like, maybe stop being an 80s Republican when you're watching your movies and thinking, oh, sex. Blah, blah. And I'm just like, you're 22 years old. Why are you upset? Why are you offended about this? I saw somebody post something about like, well, I want to know if there's sex or nudity in the movie because I want to know if I can watch it with my parents. And I'm like, then I'm reminded, oh, right, we're dealing with children. That's right. We're dealing with children.
It kills me. Adults not wanting to, or not adults questioning just other adults watching adult content. I mean, it absolutely drives me crazy. And it just makes me more and more nervous about where we're heading in the future and so forth.
There's been a quick switch because I mean, it wasn't that long ago when we had like something weird stuff come out all the time. We had the adult film renaissance where we were getting these restorations by Vinegar Syndrome and Media Blasters and stuff. People were talking about them in more serious ways. And like something happened where now it's a problem. And I think someone tried to coincide it with like the Me Too movement, which makes sense to me.
I think I did.
And I think probably Mr. Gentry, actually. Yes, that's right. And it's like, that's true. But I feel like that was the beginning of it and just ballooned. And it's tougher to have conversations with people, and those people won't take you seriously because you mention one thing, sex positive, and you're immediately a pervert. Yeah. And you immediately can't be trusted, and you immediately are biased. And and you hate women, and I'm just like, anyway, I can't have this conversation with you. And if you can't be an adult and have a conversation about why sex and nudity is perfectly fine with consenting 100%. Adults and in a narrative framework As long as everyone is
Yeah,
consenting, I don't know what the problem is.
Yeah. It's crazy to me. Like, I'll hear young people, like you said, Casey, making the same arguments that just the super conservative people in the 70s, the Republican Reagan era, that the same exact things. But they don't realize that they're echoing that. They think that they're echoing something conservative. They think that they're somehow or another protecting the people in these movies and that they're being taken advantage of.
They think they're being progressive, and actually it's regressive. It is not progressive. It's very Andrea Dworkin stage feminism, which needs to stay dead and buried, because it actually serves to harm women, not empower women.
It will get women killed. I mean, it will get women so hurt. I mean, it's terrifying. Yeah, and they just and you cannot have a conversation about it. I love stuff like this where we consider, but you cannot have a conversation about it with people. I mean, I've heard, like, and you mentioned Sean Baker, like, I've seen some of those comments too. I remember when they said that they didn't use an intimacy coordinator on his last film, and just the blowback he got. And I'm just like, these are two adults making decisions for themselves. It's like, what is your issue?
Oh no, they infantilized Mikey Madison. They said, well, she's a young girl in the industry, she doesn't know better. I'm like, so you're saying that she, as a grown adult, can't make her own decisions? She needs to have someone else make the decisions for her, like a male agent needs to make the decision for her? Like, you need to hear yourself. You need to talk these things through in your head before you say them.
It is crazy.
You know? It really is wild. Because it was agreed upon between everybody, the two actors and then the director, and that's done. Doesn't need to. Yeah, this was not a Last Tango in Paris situation where, you know, the director or the actor conspired against the actress to humiliate her on camera.
I don't understand.
So what we're saying here is that there's no possibility a movie called Caged Virgins could be released in 2026.
Not unless it's like shot on video, direct to DVD, or streaming on Tubi or something.
Tubi, I was going to say,
But as we saw, this thing played everywhere.
Virgins and Vampires might still go over well. I think you could probably get away with that. I think the caged part makes it sound non-consensual. I think Caged Virgins makes it sound non-consensual. That would be the issue. But Virgins and Vampires, great. Let's go.
It's funny. I used to go to the movies all the time. I used to love going to the movies, and I rarely go anymore. And it's because of the cost, and also I just don't want to see anything that's playing. I mean, if I lived outside in New York, or, you know, a place where I could go to repertoire cinemas to see older, I would do that all the time. But in Kentucky, we don't have that option. But anyway, when I do get to see a modern movie that has any sort of nudity at all in it, I mean, I'm just like,
it's wild.
Even if they suck, I'm just still grateful that they at least had something resembling, the movies that I love. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just I know I don't see Caged Virgins.
No. There is one out right now called Dreams, which is Greenwich is released it, and that has Jessica Chastain. And she has an affair with this Mexican guy, and there are graphic sex scenes in this. And I'm like, you go, Jessica Chastain. And she's she doesn't sign on to this stuff willy-nilly. She makes informed decisions about the work she does, and she's very public about that. So she signed on to this kind of erotic thriller, sort of, where she does nudity and has sex scenes, including a scene where, like, she talks really dirty to the guy. So a friend of mine saw that double feature with Pillion, another very sexually graphic film about an S&M dom sub situation, but it's a gay film. So, like, we have little pockets of films that are still there, but again, they're only shown in, like, film towns like New York, LA, maybe Chicago. And it gives me hope that they're still coming out. I think even those distributors are kind of like, well, how do we promote this without really upsetting, like, the woke mind hive? Being like, sex, this is terrible.
Yeah, it's interesting you said that about, like, where they're coming out, because you know, as we are film researchers here, we look at the history behind how these films were distributed back in the, you know, the 70s, and they played everywhere. They played the little podunk towns. They played every drive-in. They played, anybody could see them. You know, they were playing your Kentucky drive-ins down there, Jeremy. Like,
I mean, I was looking at those ads I found, and it just kind of blew my mind, thinking that when I was a kid in Kentucky, I could, if my parents had wanted to, they could have taken me to see Caged Virgins.
Yeah, right.
That's exactly.
They could have gone on a date night and had you in the backseat, just be like, Just lay down and go to sleep. We're gonna watch a movie.
Yeah, they did that for the Exorcist when I was a little baby. Apparently.
Oh my
That was
lord!
my first movie in a theater.
Wow.
But
could have been Cage Virgins. It was still playing in theaters in '73.
I know it's crazy to me. Yeah. But no, I remember like in the 90s, even in Kentucky, I would be able to see like I remember seeing a Jacques Rivette film in Kentucky at the like one of his like Up Down Fragile, that movie, and Kieslowski. I mean, we had films like that with the play. Now that's all gone. Like we just do not get that, and we don't have any kind of the one sort of art house theater we had switched, and they started showing mainstream films, and then of course they closed down. So now we just have the major multiplexes, and we just get whatever junk they send out.
Wow.
So and
it's even interesting to think about too, because like I think people forget that like New World Pictures under Corman was distributing like Cries and Whispers by Bergman, and other imports. Canon was distributing art films. I mean,
isn't that crazy?
It's very interesting to think about how like it didn't just used to be the coastal elites who were getting these kind of films. They would be seen you could see them in all kinds of pockets of the country. It wasn't just relegated to the film cities. Yeah.
I mean, like I've seen all of Almodovar's films on the big screen. That was just living in Kentucky back in the day. But we don't. It's just everything's changed. Yeah. So
Sony Pictures Classics. I don't know what's up with them now.
Yeah. I used to love. I miss going to the movies, but at the same time, when I went and saw Wuthering Heights, bringing that goddamn thing up, but. The tickets, it was a matinee, and the tickets were like $11, and I'm just like, man, I could have got some Blu-ray of a film that I love that I'll have, and it's just, I don't know, it's just all different. It's frustrating.
Well, who exported and imported a lot of these films? Harry Novak.
Harry Novak.
We should talk about Harry Novak.
Good segue.
Yeah.
Now, he didn't import anything like an Almodovar, something with actually quality, but this is probably his well, I mean, I know you said you wouldn't include his box office title. I do think this might have been the classiest title that he brought over of his imports. Notorious Concubines, maybe. That's terrible, though. But there's a sense of class to this, honestly.
Yeah. Compared to, like, The Sinful Dwarf,
Oh, The Sinful Dwarf.
Well, that's true, yes. Yeah.
I was reading about his career, like, in the prep for this, and, man, the idea that he started working, like, with RKO, like, around in the 20s and 30s, and then ended up in the 80s doing a couple of adult films under, I forget the name, but it was a hilarious...
Harry H. Yes, it was like her something H. Yes, it was like it wasn't Harry Joseph. No, it wasn't Joseph F. Sherman. M. Sherman. That was somebody else. It was.
I think
Hershey
I think the last name was Hershey. Which but anyway,
because he had like Moments of Love in '83.
Yeah. The trajectory of working in early Hollywood. And
There's
then
going,
just how much he saw, and it was just a really wild life and career. And but I was looking over the films that he distributed, and I'm like, man, these are some pretty rough titles. Like some of these.
Well, he also loved the sex and horror mix too, because like he loved this. Basically, if there was some horror and some sex, those are the two most marketable items, I think, for a lot of exploitation distributors.
And Friedman didn't like really to mix those, so maybe Harry was like, Friedman's not covering this market, so I'm going to cover it.
Well, I think Harry started that way anyway, because Kiss Me Quick was sex and horror. Like, I think he started off doing sex and horror. That was always something that I think he personally liked. So, like, the Toy Box, the Mad Butcher, Madison Lace. Like, I think he always liked to mix the sex and horror stuff. I think that was a personal thing for Novak. I'm not sure, but it helped that it was also a market thing.
I think that's such the 60s like soft sex film. That's such an interesting period for me. I mean, it's because there's so many of films, and I feel like I barely know anything about that period. I probably know a lot more than most, but I feel like I have know very little because it's just dense to me. Like the figures in it, and
that's what we're trying to unravel.
I mean, it's
we still have people that we haven't covered somehow. In a year of episodes, there are still people that we haven't even scratched the surface of. I mean, that's how dense and all encompassing it is, because there's just so many people that we haven't even touched on.
Got like guys like Joe Sarno, who I've been watching for years. I'll stumble across a film that he directed, and I'm like, I've never even heard of this. Like, it's just so there's just so many. So I've been trying to watch more and more and learn more and more about that period, because the stuff that I've seen is so vivid and unforgettable. Like like the Curse of Her Flesh movies.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, just that stuff is it's just the black and white cinematography. It's just such a cool period.
A lot of creativity in that.
Totally.
In that and a lot of garbage too. We've covered some of that. we've talked about Joel Landwehr and some other people who are like, not great, but
it's like you're kind of swimming around trying to find the jewels and a lot of junk.
But even the garbage has interesting stories to it,
Yes, very true.
But the behind the scenes stuff is what gets like. And I love both. Like I always read both of your guys' stuff on Letterboxd whenever you post something, and I love the way both of you write. It's, I mean, the interest in film history, because that's really where I'm at too. I mean, like that's, I do critique stuff, and I like, but I just really am into film history. So like learning about the people that made the films and the people behind this. I really appreciate what you guys write. And Casey, I've been reading your stuff for years. Like I'm so grateful.
Yeah.
Like, your knowledge is
Casey also always helps me like identify actors and actresses, because sometimes I have face blindness.
You have somebody yes you have somebody screenshots, and I'm like, that's who that is. Who was it I helped you identify? Oh, Frank Mills, because you were like, who's this guy with Barbara? I was like, that's her husband.
Just some random white guy.
Yes, he has white guy face blindness. I
got those Doris Wishman box sets recently, and I've been watching those, and like the people, and I'm like, I'll look up like, who is this lady with the brunette, and I'll try to figure out, and I'm like, oh, who's this character's name? I'm like, oh, it's a hunt. Didn't you used to go on Internet Movie Database, Casey, and like correct things? Didn't you? I
used to. I don't correct them anymore.
Okay, I thought I remember a long time ago you would do that.
Yeah,
it was
I don't anymore.
Yeah.
It's still a mess, but basically I update stuff in my reviews, and if you read the review, then you know the actual truth.
But it's just such a wild period.
And with the pseuonyms, the pseuonyms will throw you off too.
Yeah. Even some of the Caged Virgin alternate titles, I don't think I had heard before. Like I didn't realize it had so many different retitling that he would just keep I was imagining like if you were somebody that would just go to these movies a lot, and you would just end up seeing that over and over again.
Oh, absolutely. Sam Sherman loved doing that.
Yeah, they got different titles because they played it so often.
Yeah,
so they had to
be in your car sitting down and be like, oh my God, it's this movie again. There's those clowns.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Well, that is something. I do love the way this movie opens, actually, and where you think it's going to be something completely different. It's it's this cops and robbers movie, and then like these girls escape. It's like, okay, what's going to happen to these girls? Where's their life of crime going to take them? Apparently, it takes them to a castle with some vampires in it, and apparently they're virgins, which is shocking. But
the film I just love how it starts with them in that car, and it's just like you're in the middle of the action. There's no explanation about why are they wearing what's happening, but it's perfect. Right. It's perfect. It's just like a poem. I mean, it's just this.
I just know Roland loved shooting that scene. He's like, oh, this is just like those serials I read all the time. This is perfect. Finally get to do like an action scene. Yeah.
Now, didn't Harry Novak put out the Nude Vampire too? Correct? Is that right? Like early?
No, I don't think so. I don't think I was able to determine that. I think what happened was he had prints in his vaults, which happened a lot with something weird partnership, was that they went into his vaults and they basically liberated the vaults. And that included a lot of prints of stuff that either he was holding for friends, like the Don Davis stuff, or prints that he was sent by other producers to entice him to distribute the films theatrically. So I don't think he handled Shiver, and I don't think he handled Nude. I haven't found any evidence that he handled either of those. I think maybe because he distributed Caged Virgins, maybe he was interested in doing additional Roland films. I have not personally found any evidence he distributed those.
Okay,
I think Gentry determined that they recently showed Shiver of the Vampires at the New Beverly, and I thought it was the print from the Novak vault, but apparently not. There was a title on the print that I'd never heard of, and then Gentry found that it was distributed in the States by some other distributor that I'd never heard of.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really interesting.
It was distributed by you can find newspaper ads for it under that Strange Things Happen at Night title.
Yeah, I've seen those ads. Yeah. Right. I actually like that. I like that retitling. I
kind of do too.
It's a very good retitle.
Yeah.
Very evocative.
But box office wasn't attached to that. That's kind of the thing. It's like usually if Harry handled a movie, he made sure you knew who was handling the movie. Like Box Office International was slapped all over that place. You knew exactly who was doing it. And I don't think there was any Box Office International attached to that retitling that you could find, right?
I'd have to double check again, but I don't think so. Yeah.
So would he just get prints sent to him as like possibilities of films for him to distribute? Is that how it worked?
I think that's how we got a hold of those two. Yeah, I think. Or if he had, this is an example like the Caged Virgins thing. I haven't seen the Novak VHS release from Something Weird of Shiver of the Vampires. It's possible that it was a print under that title that maybe he handled as a California distributor, which he did do, which he handled California distribution for some titles that were not California productions. So that's possible that he handled some regional distribution for Shiver of the Vampires. But Nude Vampire, I don't think he handled that.
Do you guys think that he handled do you think the English dubs were brought to him, or do you think that he
Gentry had a note about that?
Yeah. Well, I saw in that interview, he said, I don't know, the wording is kind of strange, so it's hard to really say, but he made it sound like he took care of the English dubbing on it. But Casey questions.
I just question that because the big reason I question that is actually home video distribution. If you finish the English dub on that, I feel like the Novaks would insist on getting paid to use that English dub for any of the home video releases of that, because that's the way they are. Like they wouldn't have said like, oh yeah, you can use that English dub, that's fine, because that English dub would have only been used for the domestic distribution, right. Unless it was used for the UK release. That I don't know either. You know who really is really good about this home video stuff is Mark Morris. Mark Morris had that website that was Roland Baraksic and somebody else years ago. And he's typically credited in a lot of these Roland releases for because he was a big collector in video. And he would have like a list of all the video releases and the companies and their runtime and things like that. He was really on Mark Morris is like old school Pete Toombs era stuff.
I was going to say, we haven't even talked about Lionel Wallman, who's, he's an American, wasn't he? Overseas working with Roland. Or was he Canadian?
I think so, yeah. I always get him and Sam Selsky, Roland's kind of money guys that he would go.
So, I mean,
yeah.
He had a connection with someone who probably could dub it in English and,
Sure.
Yeah, I was just wondering, if Roland, I know that he would take his films, or he would have people that would go to the Cannes Film Festival with kind of promotional material trying to sell the films. I'm just wondering if he tried to get prints of his films to America after the ones that came out, like the ones if they were just all rejected or if they were even seen, or I just find that stuff really interesting.
Well, it also makes me think because we know that there were scenes that were created for this film specifically for an American audience that were more graphic. So then it makes me wonder, okay, well, if you were already thinking of an American audience, then they definitely would have been thinking about a dub already without Novak's involvement. So I wonder if Novak saying we finished it meant any editing that he did, not necessarily the English dub. Because I feel like I'm not that familiar with how these film markets work, but I would think if you're trying to sell a movie domestically, it would be similar to the Italian films of that era, where they would be shot in English, even though they were dubbed, and then have a dub done later by the Nick what's his face group with Carolina De Fonseca and those people. They lived in Rome specifically to do English dubs, and so I don't know if that existed in France too, but I feel like if they were already thinking ahead in terms of an American release, they would have probably done that dub.
Yeah, they had it all planned out. Yeah,
and honestly, there's not a lot of dialogue in this. I mean, do we
That's
need
one of my favorite things? Yeah, I love that the first half is basically like a silent film. I mean, it's got music, and I just love that. Yeah, I mean, and I love the. Oh, actually, I got my little Requiem for a Vampire cassette
Oh, nice.
Finders keepers.
I love
yeah.
that.
Yeah, and it's got. I mean, it doesn't have a label, but it's. Oh, and fascinations on the other side.
Oh, very nice. I love that artwork.
Yeah, it's got a little yellow.
Wait, so who did the soundtrack for Requiem?
Rafe, I think is how you. I think it's Rafe.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, but I love the music. Is just this. Yeah, it's kind of indescribable, kind of this experimental sort of. I love the score to it, and I love the lack of dialogue. Yeah, we hadn't talked about that. I just, like you mentioned Gentry earlier with his like making a serial. I mean, but the element of early cinema just kind of comes through, and just pure cinema. I love that. And I think it's cool that Novak, because to get to the kind of the caged virgin section of the film, I mean, he would have to sit there and watched, the first half of the film. And I think it's kind of impressive that he still picked up that, hey, I think this film has could be marketable towards, people in an American drive-in. Yeah.
As long as it had a retitle. I think the title kind of did everything for him. It did all the work. He's like, I'm going to call it Caged Virgins, and I don't really have to do much else.
Well, also, that American artwork is really pretty iconic.
That too.
The Caged Virgins poster. He always had really good poster people on staff to do that kind of thing. His campaigns are really... as much as an uncultured swine, I think Harry Novak was. Your point is accurate, Jeremy. The fact that he sat through this whole thing before he got to anything that was really the meat and potatoes kind of thing. But then also the fact that he always had the best campaigns. So he knew exactly what he was doing. I will always give him credit for that he really knew what he was doing in terms of marketing. Absolutely. Yeah. Marketing genius. Yeah.
Yeah. As crude as the Caged Virgins title is, it is very like unforgettable. Like once you see, and the ads, before we did you asked the other day, Gentry, if I had a copy of Caged Virgins. I looked on eBay to see how much the old SWV VHS tapes are, and they're more money than I'm willing to spend or have. But
wait, does Slipcase Alex not have a copy?
Our friend,
we're friends with a guy who is he is on Instagram, and I think it's Letterboxd as Slipcase Horror. No, and he collects a lot of the old VHS, the original Something Weird VHS.
How much was it going for?
Whether it's on DVD or not,
there were like copies for like $50 and $60.
Okay,
so not astronomical, but yeah, and I don't, like I said, I don't save. I mean, I go from like, if I had like my old VH, and once I got the DVDs, I got rid of the VH, and then once I got the Blu-rays, I got rid of the DVD.
I know, I do
like
the same.
Save things. I kind of wish I
don't do that either.
Had the room and space to do that, but I just don't. And I needed money, and I sell stuff. You know what I mean? So it's just
I think Bruce Holochek does that. I know a few people that have the space to do that, but it's like I don't. So nice. I'm not that. I cannot afford to be that kind of collector.
To keep the multiple iterations.
Yes. Once, I have piles of stuff I need to upgrade from, and once I do, it's gone. Like I don't need to keep it.
That's how I am too. But it is kind of. I'm jealous of people that have like huge places where they just have like walls of their entire like life collection. I'm just like, that's pretty cool that you can do that.
Can't do that. Yeah, my stuff. I have a lot of Something Weird tapes I need to send to Alex actually, because I had the DVD-R, so I don't need the VHS.
Oh yeah. I'm always. It always kind of stuns me when I see people still collecting VHS, not because it's expensive, just because like I'm a quality whore. So it's like, I want to see this in the best quality possible. Right. So I don't need to spend money on something that looks worse than I can currently see it. But I get like the aspect of like, it's cool to collect this thing and to have it on my shelf and shove it in a little, a combo TV VCR player when I'm doing something else in the background, that kind of thing. But
I saw like this was a few years back, an interview with Tarantino, who I don't like to mention anymore, but anyway, he was saying that he was and it drives me crazy anytime you see a release like of an old cult film. If they can find a way to mention him, they will, like in the and I'm just like, stop doing that, please. Stop mentioning it. I don't care if it's one of his favorite films. I don't know. Stop.
It sells 100 more copies.
Yeah, but anyway,
also the people who made these films do the same thing. They're like, well, I made this movie and Tarantino loved it. I'm like, I could give a shit. I love it. That's what I care about.
Please. Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't care if he liked it. I like it.
Yeah. But he gave an interview where he mentioned that he prefers watching his films on VHS.
Liar.
And I'm just like, why? What are you even talking about? Like, why would you want to, if you've got like a restored, HD copy, why would you want to? Why? What do you even? So anyway. There's I could go on and on about
you know what that is? That's a dog whistle to hipster frauds, is what that is.
Yeah.
There's no, because basically it's like, see, I'm one of you guys. I like VHS better. I'm like, most VHS collectors do not watch the VHS. They collect it for the box art and they put it on display. They don't have a VHS tape. They don't have a player or you know.
Yeah, it just drives me. He's become such a boomer, the ultimate boomer. I can't. Yeah, we could go. We could make an entire podcast about this.
I think Alex, actually, Alex Slipcase Horror, the guy that we talk to all the time, he's one of the only people I know that collects tapes and watches them. Yeah. Which is why I'm like, great, if we're gonna collect them, watch them. At the very least, you have them. It's media, like indulge in the media. But he also isn't someone who's like, well, I have the tape, I don't need to get the Blu-ray or the DVD. He also buys those.
I don't know. It's just weird.
And God love Alex too, because he buys a lot of tapes of stuff that has been out of print for years and we can't access streaming or downloading. So he's able to send us some stuff that we're missing.
He's ripped a few things for us. So he
has.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
That's why I was like, I thought maybe he might have the caged virgins. I could ask him I was
really surprised that I couldn't find it. Like I have a number of sites that I download from, and I just was like, why is this not out there? It's weird. Even on like, I went to some random like Russian video site. I was like, no, it's not. It's not anywhere. Really bizarre. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is because all the subsequent home video releases have basically trounced it. So people aren't even considering it could be a completely alternate version that isn't available. So people aren't considering that because they have the full, complete Rollon's original version. But if we want to see if there is a difference in the way Novak distributed it and edited it, we don't have access to that. And so I it's like I originally thought he didn't, but now that he maybe did, I'd at least like to verify for sure.
So what's up with Something Weird Video? Like, are they putting out physical releases at any point? I remember there was like an announcement. I'm not on Facebook anymore or any of those platforms, so I don't see a lot of stuff. I just remember there was a time when they stopped, their website changed and they stopped doing what they were doing. Is there like an opportunity that they might put out their cut of that eventually, or is that even possible because of Indicator's release?
That is with Novak and Novak, Harry, rest in peace, I guess. Yeah. Rest in peace, Harry. Yeah. as much as I have issues with Harry, rest in peace, Harry. His wife is now the executor of the estate and in charge of those releases. And apparently she's very difficult to deal with. So, and also I think that, that's why I've always wondered how it came out domestically in this country. I don't know what rights that the Novak estate would have for this film, because if it's come out here as Requiem for a Vampire and it's the same film, then I don't know if they have to sign off on it. I don't know if they have sued and gotten money. I'm not sure what the situation is with that. But access to the Novak version that came out through Box Office International, I imagine you would have to go through them.
Okay. Yeah, I wonder if Indicator tried to get it as like an extra, like an alternate,
I wonder too, actually.
Because like their version's so definitive, except for that one. There is that sort of alternate version out there. So I didn't know that about the Novaks. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, because they have a lot of shit that we want out. Like,
that's really unfortunate. I don't know.
Yeah.
I hate that when you read about people that have access to, or that have the rights to these films and they're so difficult to deal with and they just won't
tell us about it. Yeah.
Work with people. It's like, why? What are you doing? Like, why?
Because they don't care. I know. They don't. And also, because they don't consider, historically, I think sales have gone down on these things, but I feel like we're ripe for a renaissance, because I feel like there are people who are tired of like the quote unquote woke bullshit where people are like, well, you can't talk about sex in film. I feel like it go the other way around, and it could be like an edgelord kind of thing where it's like, well, you know what? I'm going to buy every sex movie possible because I'm edgy like that. And it's like, okay, I applaud that. Let's edgelord it up, please.
Whatever it takes.
That's going to work in my favor. I'm for it. Right. Like if we're going to be edgelord about it, let's go.
Yeah. Whatever it takes. Yeah.
I know. Do what you got to do.
I feel like there's probably not much difference in the Caged Virgins cut.
Yeah, I don't think there is.
Because Indicator is pretty good about noting stuff like that as well. Like sometimes in the booklet, or for the Lips of Blood booklet, they talked about the Suck Me Vampire. They even talked about the differences there.
Right.
So I feel like they would have done something if it was significant.
I really just think it was just some tightening up.
But I do still want to see that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no,
I do too. Just for that's why I kind of wish they had shown that at the New Everleak if they had access to a print. But then again, the Novaks, they might have raised hell about it. But I would like to see it I would like to see it theatrically, whether it's in that Novak version or the original French version. Just because I can't imagine how good it looks on a big screen.
Have either of you ever seen a Rollin film? Like been able to go see one theatrically
on big screen? Nope.
No. In New York, of all places, we don't have Rollin screenings. We have tons of Argento and Fulci and.
I know the one weekend I got to come up one weekend for my book, and I got to see a few of Sylvia's films screen theatrically.
Oh, and that's been great.
And that was just amazing. Like because I never experienced anything. Yeah, I mean, just seeing those films screened on the big screen. I mean, yeah. So, Casey, if there's ever like in New York, if there's ever like a Rollin retrospective, let me know because I can. I can distance now. I can come off.
Well, at the very least, I mean, even if it was just the 3 Brigitte films, Grapes of Death, Fascination, Night of the Hunted. I mean, that's a weekend. You could do just 3 screenings.
Yeah,
that I would love to do that. Even if it's not a comprehensive survey, I would love to. I feel like that maybe there was a Rollin series a few years ago when I was not
they've
there.
Had some. Yeah,
they have. It's just not there. He's not a recurring presence in rep cinema here as much as Argento is. We have midnight screenings of Argento stuff pretty frequently, and I'm like, I love Argento and seeing him in the theater is great, but I crave something different sometimes, and Rollin would be different because you just don't see him that much, you know.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. Like I had an experience recently where I popped in Bird with Crystal Plumage, which I still love. It's one of my favorites. But I just think I was just like, man, I've seen this so many times at this point. I've seen these so many times, and I'm in the mood to like discover new things right now.
Well, that's why Hyena in the Safe, when that came out last year, I've raved about that in multiple
I've still got to get that, man. I haven't seen that.
That was such a breath of fresh air. I was blown. I mean, I watched it from a download that I got from another website. I had a DVD-R of it, and I was like, well, let me watch this and see if I'm going to buy this Blu-ray. And I watched it, and I was just like, I cannot wait to see this Blu-ray because I know it's going to be better. The subtitles were better, too, from the version I had, but that was one that I was telling everyone, see this movie. It's nice to have something that's a complete surprise. That when you think you've seen everything in terms of jolly, then it's a really nice surprise.
Yeah, I love that. I love when you discover, just make major discoveries, and you're like, man, I can't believe this has been out there. And it's so great. We're kind of in a golden age right now of some of these companies releasing films that, to me at least, I'm completely new to them. I'm just like, I don't know this film. I don't know this director, and I'll watch it. And I'm
still just like, so much more. It's crazy.
There's so much more. Yeah,
it does make you much more optimistic. That's why I remain optimistic about a lot of stuff in terms of boutique label releases and film in general, because it's kind of like there's always going to be something that's going to come along and completely like obliterate me and wake me up. Like, you know, as quote unquote bored as I might be, kind of like, well, I've seen everything. It's like, well, you really haven't, because there's always going to be something that's come along. I was like, well, where has this been my entire life? You know?
Yeah, I saw some guy on YouTube recently because I late at night I'm heavily medicated and just sit watching random YouTube channels. But he was
relatable content, Jeremy.
Yeah. he was talking about how like he felt like, you know, everything had already been released. There wasn't anything to look forward to. And I'm like, dude, what are you even talking about? There is so much cinema out there that's just unseen. It's
even looking at like the 90s. If for a while I was going through a period of trying to see every movie that was nominated for the Independent Spirit Award in any category. There are films in the 80s and 90s that have never been released past VHS, not even DVD, and not even Blu-ray yet. So I'm just kind of like, there is so much stuff, not even genre stuff. Like, and there's studio stuff that hasn't been released. I mean, we're finally getting Last Summer from Warner Archive, which they just announced, and I thought that would never happen. So I'm excited for that movie to blow minds, because that hasn't been available uncut in decades, since like the early 80s when it first came out on VHS. So, and Night of the Juggler just came out last year, and that never came out on anything after VHS. So there's always, I remain optimistic about it. And that's why I like Sidewalks of Bangkok. I'm hoping that we will get that. Crazier things have happened. You know, I didn't think we were getting 4K of any Rollin. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like,
The positivity, like the only thing that like I find right now to be a very depressing time, and it's a struggle to keep my like spirits up some days. And like watching these movies, reviewing these, just writing about them, researching them, that's really keeps me going, like in the excitement of that. So I appreciate that, what you said just then. I mean, it does keep me kind of positive in like a very kind of increasing dark time.
Yeah. Well, you know what was crazy to me, what actually made me so happy randomly out of nowhere was all the Doris Wishman nudist camp movies. Because I just bought all those. And I was like, I remember them being, oh, these are so stupid. These are so bad. Something about the bold color, the stupid stories, like just people enjoying being naked under the sun. And I was like, you know what? This is a breath of fresh. Like, why is this completely healing my heart right now? These stupid Doris Wishman movies, these idiots going to the moon and finding aliens with running around naked with paper pipe cleaners on their head. Like, why is this saving my life right now?
No, there's a liberating freedom about it to me. There's just a liberating quality about it. There's just absent now. I just do not feel it anymore.
It's like a joy of filmmaking, you know?
Yeah, just like let's make a movie.
Joy as much, in films nowadays.
Yeah, even I watched a couple of like really like no SOV titles lately, like no budget, shot in somebody's living room, and I was just like, it's like this is the quality of like let's make a movie, let's get this movie made. I just love that. I just think that's such an admirable, because I don't have that in me, and I don't have that kind of community around me where I could do that. But I just, people that are able to do that, I just think it's so cool. And especially I just have gotten to the point where I don't have any interest in seeing movies that are made for hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. I just find that kind of gross now. So I just really like discovering people who manage to make these films and keep making film. I just love that. I just think it's great.
Right.
I agree.
What was it Bowen said on our episode with him that really resonated me with, was that when something becomes easy, it's no longer an art form.
Yeah.
Like there's a certain challenge.
There needs to be
certain
like
challenges associated. Yes. Where you are creating and it's not going to be easy, and it maybe shouldn't be easy. And that goes back to the AI of it all, where it's like, well, this makes it really easy. I can just tell something what to do. And it's like, well, it's stealing from somebody else that worked hard on something and you're doing nothing. So
the AI stuff, the generative AI stuff makes me so angry. Like I cannot, and it's so depressing how it's just being so accepted and embraced. And it's just devastating to me. Like, and I really worry about, I just worry that like if a boutique label if they start doing these kind of quote AI restorations, AI upscales, and like that
already happened.
Yeah, I know. I think
happened.
I think it has.
I forget which one it was, but somebody was talking about it. I read it. I was like, oh, this is an AI upscale that they released on Blu-ray and didn't label it as such.
Umberto Lindsay, The Killer Must Kill Again, which was pretty controversial.
I love that movie. Yes, that's the one I'm thinking of. Yes, and I'm like, what? No.
And I didn't call. In my review of it, I just said, because I don't have I don't feel like I have kind of like a professional setup where I can judge completely what is going on like behind the scenes. But I knew something was up with that release, like and then I read, I'm like, because I kind of suspected this looks like an AI upscale, and I was like, man, I hope it's not. And I still haven't heard but it definitely looks like it. And the frustrating thing was, and it was one reason that I didn't completely go off in my review of it, is because it came from, they worked with Umberto Lindsay himself. Like he's involved in the release.
Or Luigi Cozzi?
Or Cozzi, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. Because you know what? Luigi Cozzi, that tracks with Luigi Cozzi. You mean the guy who rode Argento's coattails his entire career? You don't say.
Yeah.
But he doesn't know how to do something without using AI.
Yeah, but it's like, man, if we're gonna have directors start doing that for, it's very concerning. And I just, I'm convinced that these major studios are going to start messing with their classic films. Like, I don't know exactly what they're going to do, but I hate it.
Who put that out? What studio?
A company called Rustblade. They're out of Italy, and they're connected with him. I thought it was a good release. I mean, there's this kind of plastic, smooth look about it.
Well,
it just doesn't look. There's something not quite right, and it was frustrating because they didn't give any. If it had been a case of like, we don't have access to the original negative, we wanted to get this out in HD. to be honest with what they were doing. But as it is, they didn't have any information at all, so you just don't know what exactly.
Well, I mean, Mondo Macabro, I think that was something that came to my attention. Apparently, the Criterion Collection had a new HD version of Alucarda on there, and it was an AI upscale. And I thought that it was a Mondo Macabro. It was not. Mondo Macabro just commented.
Criterion
is an AI upscale.
Oh, man,
because the negative is gone, and Mondo Macabro has been very open about this, that they want to do a Blu-ray. They cannot because there is no element available. They didn't do this AI upscale. Apparently, the rights owner did. But that just goes to show you, certain companies with morals, like Mondo Macabro, are not going to do that. They're going to say, I'm sorry, guys, this is not possible.
Yeah.
And those are the companies that I really want to follow those companies. I want to, man, because because I was watching, they've been doing it with TV shows, streaming TV shows, older shows. They've been doing AI upscales for like Roseanne, and it looks
horrible. You can tell. You can tell.
It looks horrible, and I'm like, God, please stop doing this. Just stop.
Nobody's asking for it. And that's kind of the interesting thing. And in terms of Rollin, I mean, the fact that is, historically throughout his career, he had these issues with getting his films made financially and then seen by people because the distribution was so terrible all the time. But I even think Rollin, if you gave him the option of like, well, AI will get your movie done quicker and more affordably, and also more people will see it if we use AI to do this, I think he wouldn't have said yes to that.
No, I don't think so either.
Why would he? Because then it takes away everything that is part of his creativity, his drive.
It's been so
to
depressing
make these
for me to see like directors not speaking out more about this stuff. Like I just don't understand why they don't see the. I don't know.
Yeah. I hate the argument that's like, well, it's here, so there's nothing we can do about it. It's like, yeah, there is something you can do about it.
Yeah.
It's the most insane argument ever, because there's all sorts of shit that was here 50 years ago that isn't here now. I mean, we women couldn't vote. Racism was part of the culture. I mean, still is, but things have changed for the better. You can't just throw your hands in there and be like, well, I guess it is what it is. We'll let the people in charge make the decisions.
With Ari Aster, is that her name? The guy that is named the guy that did I don't know,
Midsummer and Hereditary.
He gave an interview, and the interview was basically like Gentry just said. That was what he said. It's like, well, it's here, so we just kind of have to. And it's like, dude, you have a major following. You have a major platform.
Exactly.
You could literally just say right now, I will not work with any companies that do that. It would be an easy thing to, but just none of them. I mean, it's just depressing. Like even. No. I don't know. It's bizarre.
Because I think a lot of it will be like, well, we're powerless to stop it. It's like, really, you are the creatives in a creative industry. You don't have the power to stop it. You're also unionized. Your unions aren't going to do something about this and go on strike and say we're not doing this. They make no stands when they have the power to do something about it. It's very frustrating to me. Yeah, it's
Yeah. Well, with the restoration, talking about The Killer Must Kill Again. Mm-hmm. I'd like to talk to someone that actually does digital restoration to get a nuanced view, because I know that there is sometimes, what we might call AI that's used to like clean up little dust and stuff like that. So I think it is like there is a gray area there with regard to like how you clean up.
If you told me that you have a program, an AI program that just basically removes does a basic cleaning that is not taking away somebody's job and it's not altering the movie, I don't really have an issue. It is kind of a gray area, but that's not something. But it's the AI upscales. It's the generative AI upscales that are just.
That's kind of the issue, because the upscale isn't part of the cleanup.
Right. I don't even know what we're looking
tools. At. Yeah, those tools to clean stuff up, those have been around. Like they haven't been using AI.
Yeah.
It's creating something out of nothing to make something look
like
better.
I was watching one of the I was watching one of the Roseanne upscale just because I was curious about it. Upscales on, I think it's on Peacock or one of those streaming. But anyway, I was just like, what am I even watching right now? Am I even watching this actual show, or am I watching an AI representation of Like, is it been like, I don't even know what I'm looking at. And it was just so bizarre. Like, why did,
And that's something else. How was I not violating some kind of SAG rule for all those actors where it's impacting their performance? And they didn't sign off for that to be done.
Exactly.
So why is that not being discussed? And I think why is SAG not doing anything about it? It's just
I think for deceased performers or anybody, like,
it's even worse.
The right to use their likeness. I mean, it's deeply immoral to me. Like, if unless they signed off on something, then it's just not right. I don't know.
Oh, you mean like they want to use AI to recreate all the missing ship from Magnificent Ambersons?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
And Orson Welles would have never agreed to that ever.
Yeah. I mean,
for the very, you know what? At least basically, if only for the reason that he couldn't complain about Warner Brothers anymore. I mean, at the very least, he could say then it would take away his tortured artist narrative for one. Second of all, it's just morally repugnant, but it would take away his complaining rights, which as a chronic complainer, we don't want to lose those rights. We want to be able to complain.
100%. Yeah. I don't understand. And, you know, I see like little snippets online of people like recreating people from the past doing, and it's just like, what gives you the right to do that? I mean, this is just really upsetting to me to see. I don't know. I don't get it. It's
not good. Next, we're going to see like Brigitte turning into a zombie in Grapes of Death, and then becoming the star of the film.
I can really picture like in the future, like subscription services where you can like basically create your own movies using actors that have been purchased for the. I don't know. I hate it. I just think it's depressing as hell.
I hate that idea.
Yeah,
you know, that's already happening in music. That's why I'm not a creative. I like taking in the work of creatives. I have accepted for a long, long time. I am not a creative as the people whose work I like to watch. I would rather enjoy them and amplify them and celebrate them, rather than try to imitate them, try to take their work and create something.
People that can actually make a movie. Like I don't have that in me. I just know I don't have that in me.
I definitely don't.
Yeah. So I'm happy to, like you said, I take it in, embrace it, and celebrate it.
Yeah. But the people that are making these AI movies, they don't have the talent, so they're like, this democratizes it for me, so now I can. It's like, well, maybe you shouldn't. You don't.
I want to throttle somebody. Like seriously, like because it's happening. Like streaming music is completely being taken over by this AI junk, and you'll see interviews with people talking about, you know, my process and I'm just like, you shut the fuck up. I mean,
you have no process. You press a button.
You put a prompt in. I mean, like, what are you talking about? It's. I don't know.
The frequent argument I see is like, well, you know, some people aren't born with talent. I'm like, nobody is fucking born with talent. We're born shitting our pants. We're not born with anything. We work at it. We learn. We practice. We do all that stuff. Like, I was not born with the ability to write and complete sentences. Exactly. Nobody is born with that. If you want to be lazy and not work at it, just say that. Just say I'm lazy. Don't make it seem like, well, this really democratized. No, it doesn't. It basically makes you a lazy motherfucker.
Yeah, totally. And I hate that it also damages people who, like, I've wondered, like, I want people to be aware that I don't use that. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like writers who. I don't want I wouldn't want anybody to ever think that I use that, or anybody that I like you or Gentry. I mean, it's just so
the onus is on us now as writers to basically be like, nope, I didn't use ChatGPT to do this. You know why? Because I'm a fucking grown up and I've practiced writing. I got a degree that I paid for. I do.
This is what I enjoy doing. I enjoy doing this. My mom, recently called me and she had read something that I had written. And she was like, you know, she mentioned a typo, like I don't know if it's misspelled. And I'm like, no, it's fine. Keep it. It's fine. At this point, just keep it. I want people to be aware that it's a human being. There's going to be imperfections. I'm okay with that now.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? That's what we have to do now. We have to
totally.
But that's also on the flip side. That's how you can tell it's ChatGPT. Apparently, it's the dash. Apparently, ChatGPT likes to use dashes instead of semicolons. Ellipses. They just do a dash.
It sucks because I used to actually do that. I mean, in my writing, I like to do those 3 dashes.
Oh, really? I do ellipses like crazy
that because I don't want people to think that I'm using it.
I know it sucks.
Almost. It does suck. It does, and I think that for anybody, like if you're a musician, writer, filmmaker, right now, it's like you're like competing and dealing with these people using this stuff, and
we're not doing anything. Right? You're actively working and competing against people who or intentionally trying not to work.
Yeah.
And try to get these exact same accolades without putting any effort into it whatsoever. Yeah. And I'm just like, well, you know, and it is, it's like Michael said, it's like, listen, as someone with major mental health issues, I know the struggle is real because I've had it my entire life as someone who likes to write and do that. But I wouldn't sacrifice that for anything because I know that I've grown as a writer because I've had to struggle and gotten feedback and adjusted and things like that. And also, I guess I'm part of generations that are dying out now where like the act of cheating was very heavily hammered into me that is morally repugnant and you don't do it.
Plagiarism.
So I consider this cheating. Yes, I consider it cheating. So why? Yeah, I think that's lost. I'm afraid of all these generations who are now just like,
it's
not going to consider that plagiarism. Where's plagiarism going to begin and end now?
Because that was always like a huge thing with me. Like I always wanted to make sure that I wasn't accidentally, copying something somebody else had said. I mean, I was just so aware of like I never wanted to. And now it's just so open and people are, I mean, all AI is plagiarism. I mean, it's just stealing from me. And so I don't know. I don't know what the future is going to hold with this kind of stuff, but I do feel like our generation is kind of dying out.
That's why we stay in the past.
I know it's stressful to think about and it's depressing, but I'm talking to you, Jeremy, just like do your thing. That's what I try to do.
That's what I'm trying to
just
do.
Like focus on what you're doing and don't worry about those people doing
I couldn't write an in-depth book about Sylvia Kristel.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I
couldn't happen.
Like you said, Casey,
because AI can't watch all of her films. AI can't speak to people who work with her. AI can't do that. Yeah.
I don't understand. Like that's how I get joy in life. Watching, researching, writing. That's how I get joy. And the idea that it's nourishing. It's and I don't make money. I'm poor and live in a little studio and work as a barista and I don't make any money. I just enjoy doing it, and I don't know. I can see like certain people using AI that will make a lot of money but it's just soulless. And I would never, I couldn't live with myself. Like I would just be so flabbergasted that I would,
so go check out Jeremy's website, Nostalgia Kinky.
Yes, absolutely.
No, I just enjoy having my own little space because I'm not really on. I mean, I'm on Blue Sky, but I don't really. I kind of get on there in the evening and just see what's going on in the world and what shitheads done today, and and then get off. Right. I'm not really on social media anymore, but I love Letterboxd, and I come home and I look forward to watching whatever movie I've got and writing a little bit about it, and just trying to keep some sort of positive happiness in this life right now, because this is not
that's all you can do. That's all you can do.
That's all you can do, because man, this is not the future that the 90s that I thought was going to have.
No. No. And that's the crazy thing. This basically the 2000s started with like we got over Y2K fears, and then all of a sudden we started getting these amazing DVDs of all these movies that we thought were lost forever. I remember when Blue Underground put out Eugenie, the story of her journey into perversion, which I never thought I was going to ever see. And I was like, okay, well then anything is possible. If I can see this movie, we're good to go. The future's going to be awesome. The future is golden. And I mean, we just got two Lost Andy Milligan movies last year. Like there's still so much to look forward to.
Film-wise, it's exciting.
It keeps me so optimistic. I mean, there's obviously a lot going on, but that's why and I've loved going backwards and watching revisiting films that maybe I don't remember liking that much, and I'm like, you know what, this is really hitting this time. Like they're it's great. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I'm also thinking it's funny. Before we started recording, we did an intro, and Gensha reminded me that we've been doing this for a year now. So it's crazy that we've been doing this for a year, but in that year, I'm also remembering Gentry, you saw All American Girl for the first time.
Yeah.
You saw what else? Secret Places, Secret Things for the first time.
Yeah.
Toy Box for the first time.
I'm trying to think what other ones I gave like 4 or 5 stars. So a few quick.
Yeah. Those, the first 2 you mentioned there, I put on my watch list because I've not seen those. All American Girl is such a masterpiece. I read your stuff about them and I was like, oh man, because I saw both of you. Typically when I click on a film, I always scroll down and if I see you guys rating them high, I immediately put that in my watch list because I know we're kind of all on the same wavelength as far as what we like and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, I will give you a warning. If you see a rating of mine that is high, but there's no review,
it's a historical rating. He calls it.
No, that means that I rated it when I was like in high school, like when I was first starting, because I've gone back and taken some 5 stars back for sure.
Yeah, no, there was some stuff. There was like, on like Moon in the Gutter, the old blog I used to have, I've gone back and some of the stuff I've written there, I'm like, I don't know. I'm not. It's just a different. I don't.
You're entitled
I'm
to
like,
that.
why did I rave about this? And then I'll change my mind on stuff. Like, what did I change my mind about that I was like, I was fucking out of my mind? Oh, the Ramrodder, which we did an episode of. And I didn't like the Ramrodder when I reviewed it on DVD. And then I watched it again. I was like, oh, I really like this, actually. We did a whole episode on it. And I was very happy to get people to pay attention to that one again.
Yeah, it's funny. I remember Drever said that he never changed his mind about a movie. And I always thought that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Like, I change my mind on art all the time, whether it's music, movies. It hits different. I mean, some things you have to watch more than once. I mean, you have to so.
Right. Movies definitely change, especially they also age in different ways. Like there are some movies that I remember liking way better. And it goes both ways where there's something I'm like, well, I really loved this. Maybe I'll love it again. And I go back and I'm like, oh yeah, actually, this doesn't really match my mindset now. It matched my mindset when I was like a young pipsqueak discovering sex film for the first time. And I was like, oh my God, this is a mind blower. And then I watch it as someone who's very weathered at this point. Weathered, dog-eared, put out wet to dry. And I'm like, no.
There's a lot of films from the 90s, especially when I was in my teens and 20s, that I really, really loved. That I go back and I just can't. Some I can't even watch because kind of emotionally they make me feel. And then some of the directors I've just lost so much faith in. That it's kind of affected the way that I feel about their early work. So it's weird. Like I was thinking the other day that a lot of the people that I really liked in the 90s, like I'm talking about American mainstream directors, like Sophia,
like Kevin Smith or
Tarantino. I've kind of had to just compartmentalize them in that period, which is unfair. I know that they exist outside of it, but I don't like what they've done since, and I don't like their inability to speak out about what's going on and some of them I was thinking the other day, like about Tarantino especially, like he's just somebody who has refused to mature at all. Like there's just not been any type of growth, or it's just strange. And that's true for a lot of those 90s filmmakers. They just seem kind of stuck in that kind of, I don't know. I just feel like they're making the same films they were then, and they've not grown at all. And it's just really sad to see.
I see that.
I remember like when he put out Jackie Brown, I thought this is a guy that's going to kind of mature and grow and make interesting.
That's still my favorite of his films.
Oh, 100%. I think it's easily his best film. But then he just stopped. It was like he just stopped maturing and just stopped progressing and just kind of flatlined for me at least. I know a lot of people disagree, but that's fine.
Yeah. My hot take about Tarantino is that I think Sally Menke, his editor, was his secret weapon. And everything. And she died after Inglourious Bastards. That was the last movie of his that I was able to finish.
That is it.
Everything after, I started watching Django. I didn't get that far. Didn't watch Hollywood. And I'm just like, you know what?
It's Sally Menke.
Sally Menke, God rest her soul. I think she was the reason why his movies had that flow. Yeah, I think it was Sally Menke.
Completely what I think. Yeah. That's exactly what I think too. And I don't want to take away from his writing and everything, but as far as his editing, like his films after her, I can't watch them either. Like I've seen them, but especially Django, I just hated that film. I just thought that was, and it's the editing. Like she was the secret weapon. But it's so frustrating that these filmmakers have not progressed. They've not been able to make any kind of real films about human relationships, and their kind of fear of sex is weird to me. And I just feel differently about a lot of those films from my youth. Unfortunately, it's very emotionally hard because I was really connected to a lot of them. Yeah. But
I get that.
But I'm finding joy in discovering new movies and new filmmakers and filmmakers that spoke out. Like I really,
I look at your website all the time, and like Jeremy is going everywhere on his.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying to go all over the world right now.
But you always have. I mean, but I feel like you always have. You've always done a little bit of everything, and you've really covered a lot of different territories, and that's why. I
appreciate that.
And I think but I also think that's really important for someone who's writing about film and watching film. I think if you're stuck in one genre, how limiting. I think I would hope there's something that would appeal to you in just about everything.
Yeah. And I've gotten pushback, and I'm sure, and I know you have, Casey, about the adult films that I've written and researched about. And it's like, that's part of film history. Like, why would you ignore part of, if you're considering yourself a film historian, which I do, why would I ignore like an essential part of film history? Not even mentioning that, just putting aside the fact that I love it and admire those people and really fascinated with that period, but it's like, that's part of it. It's like, I'm not going to ignore even like something like war. I hate war films. Like, the war film genre is not for me, but I mean,
it's mostly propaganda, but there's good examples.
Yeah, but I still watch, like, if I hear about something that's great and that, I will watch it because it's part of film history, and I don't want to like turn away from it. I think that's crazy. But there is just such a moral panic about so many. Well, it just all comes back to sex to me. Like, there's just such a weird modern moral panic. Yeah.
Emerald Fennel, you should be watching Caged Virgins. Maybe the next movie will be better.
Watching Caged Virgins.
I wish. Well, honestly, I think we could use a sex positive vampire movie. When's the last one we had? We haven't had one in forever. It's been a while. It's been decades, maybe.
There've been a lot of vampire movies, but the sex has been it's been removed. I mean, just modern.
Which is interesting because it's been a major part of the vampire legend since the beginning.
Oh yeah,
it goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Bram Stoker had lots of sex on Dracula. It was very there. But it's interesting you mentioned the idea of people kind of pushing back on maybe not taking you seriously because you also discuss or focus on adult films. I have both that and people who are kind of like, well, you watch porn, so you can't really know anything about any of the film genre. And then when I'm like, well, actually, pre-code films I know a lot about. 70s, the 70s new wave cinema. It's like, I didn't start with adult movies. I started with other films, and they're kind of like, oh, okay, you're into this stuff. I love pre-code stuff, and I didn't know Gentry was a pre-code guy until recently. I was like, Gentry, we could be doing a pre-code side project.
I love stumbling across that stuff on Letterboxd because I
love pre-code.
I have a pretty good knowledge of that, but you guys are way up there, and so I'm always discovering new titles.
Well, I mean, that's the connection I always make is I'm mostly interested in depictions of sex in cinema. Pre-code, there's lots of depictions of sex. Just like sexploitation that we cover in this podcast, there's a pretty clear through line I think you can make there.
People just need to be adults. Like, I don't understand people who refuse to be adults. I just don't get. I mean, sex is like an essential part of human life. I don't understand the idea that you would have an art form that doesn't approach it or represent. It's just crazy to me. Like, I don't really get it.
Well, Gentry made a good point. We did an appearance on the Disconnected, and I was kind of like, we have our favorite actresses that we rave about, and it kind of runs into this idea of like, God, I hope people don't think that I'm like, that I'm amplifying these women, and everything you see with them, they're nude. And Gentry was like, well, most women who are movie stars are famous because they're beautiful, and so it really is kind of like. That's kind of goes part and parcel with adoration of women in cinema. There's a certain beauty that comes with that. So it's not misogyny, and it's not it's not male gazy. It's just kind of like, no, these women are exhibiting strength in a different way in this medium, and the strength is the way that their beauty is amplified, their sexuality is amplified.
Yeah, that's a good way.
Oh yeah, I recently read the book about Candida Royale, and I was just like, what a life, man. And what a strong, like, independent woman. And just, all those people, those figures are just, they're monumental to me. Like, I just, and back to what you were saying about attractiveness. Yeah, I think the history of film is filled with, if not attractive people, at least interesting looking people. Like, that's who you want on camera. Like, so, I get what you're saying too. People do kind of judge, and it's not, and I'm sure people with like my book and my kind of like obsession with Sylvia Kristel and the writing and how many years it took. I mean, I'm sure there were those thoughts too, but it's like, yes, she was a beautiful woman, but that's not why I'm writing this book. His cinema is filled with beautiful people. Like, I don't know what to say about it. It's just, that's the way it is. So,
Well, like my focus on most of the women that I'm interested in are women who also could act. Like, so they're able to develop that persona across a number of films, regardless of whether they're nude or whether they're playing strippers or whatever. Like there's something about that persona that they developed. And then when you learn about their lives outside of the film, that's when it becomes even more interesting. So it really is just about, it's more a story about women than it is about like, you know, actresses or movie stars or whatever. It's about women and sex, which I find is interesting.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, Candida Royale, one of the most intimidating women I've ever known in my life, but I loved her to death. And so intimidating.
Man, I can't see Casey being intimidated by anybody.
Because she, even when you met her, she was because she was so it was her strength. It was the fact that she had more strength than anyone that I think I've ever met, regardless of gender. She was so confident in herself. She said exactly what she meant. And whenever you were in her presence, you were constantly trying to make sure that she was impressed by you and that she liked you. Like she was one of the only people that I ever cared about really liking me. Because I knew that she would not suffer fools, and so I was kind of like, God, I really hope Candace likes me. So like I was trying really hard to make her like me, and we got along well, and I helped to reconnect her with Leslie Beauvais and you know a few other people,
that's so cool.
Yeah, I miss her.
I just love her. She's one of my heroes.
She was very scary in a good way. Yeah. Like she was a good kind of scary. She kept you on your toes, but it made you a better person because of it.
Yeah.
She's one of those figures like her and Veronica Hart. I just feel like every film fan should know.
I love her. I mean, love her so much.
Candida for her, like, I mean, everybody should know about film productions in that period, and like, it's just such an important part of film, and it's just never gets talked about. And then Veronica, like, what an amazing actress. Like when I was rewatching Roommates, just all three of them are incredible, but Veronica Hart is just such an incredible actress. Like and then her filmmaking career, like this is something film historians should be celebrating and knowing about. And the idea that there's just so many young people who just completely turn away if there's even a hint of nudity or sexual content. It's just so frustrating. Yeah. I remember when Poor Things came out, just like I would see so many comments from younger people complaining about
the nudity being nude all the time.
Yeah, and it's just like, Jesus Christ, just these are adults making all decisions. Just
And she's made how many more movies with that director? That's like they are they have a key collaborating pair now.
Right.
Like she trusts
they have
him.
A great.
She made the decision on her own to do the nudity and work together through shooting those scenes. Yeah. Like they're adults, and this is an adult.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, when I see something like that, I get so excited. I'm just like, oh my God, I'm actually seeing a new film that's approaching something like this, you know. And it's and to see a young or a modern actress, willing to still do, I'm just like, this is great. This should be celebrated.
We've had this conversation before where like you're talking about Poor Things, and it reminded me like when that came out, people would, young people would be like, this is just porn. I'm like, we need to calm down with this P word. Okay. Not everything involving nudity is porn.
No,
okay.
It's not even titillation. It's not even meant to titillate, regardless of whether it's porn or not. Yeah. Nudity serves different purposes.
Yeah. There's such a weird moral panic happening with certain people. I mean, it's just strange.
This podcast, there's probably podcasts out there that probably wouldn't even say the word porn because they don't want to get like demonetized or have their listeners yell at them or something. But okay,
what a laugh.
Let's be adults here. Yeah.
First of all, demonetize. What a laugh. Second of all, that I would care what anybody thinks I say on this podcast because I have more hot takes in every episode than real takes.
I'm pretty sure we've said the word rape about 100 times as well. So we're not scared of anything.
When I'm watching somebody that mentions that, it's like, I don't want to get demonetized. It's like, dude, you got like 600 followers. You're not right. Just
and also way to choose capitalism over free speech. Great move.
Exactly.
In 2026, great move to pick your money over being able to say what you want. That's great.
Be embracing our free speech right now because it's a scary time.
It's like, well, I have to say grape, guys. I have to say pew pew. And like, no, you don't. You don't need to censor yourself.
Yeah, it's just like making children of people. It's crazy. It's
very it's very infantilizing. I don't like that.
Yeah, totally. It's so weird. Yeah. But like the firestorm that Emma Stone got after Poor Things was unreal to me. Yeah. I'm just like, this is a really admirable woman who making personal and professional decisions about her life.
Right.
And she's 1, 2, 3. I mean,
she's won 2 Oscars now. Which is crazy because she's matched with somebody. If she gets a third, then
it's going to be crazy.
Yeah. She's matched with Katharine Hepburn. That's really wild. I mean, she's great. And the funny thing is that she does so many different characters, so many different kinds of roles. And that's kind of what you want from an actress. You don't want an archetype these days. You want that kind of diversity.
Yeah, I get excited when I find modern performers that are still willing to take chances because they're just, yeah.
Agreed.
How often the promise of heaven has guided a man down the path to hell.
What can we find? How can we wrap this up? What do you think? How can we wrap up this Caged Virgins?
Everybody should watch Caged Virgins. Everybody just
go back to 1971 and experience why. Honestly, well, here's my question, and this might go on for another half an hour. As someone who's never watched if someone has never watched a Rollin film, would you recommend this as a good starting point, or should they start with something else and come back? What do you think?
I've actually thought about that. I think it's a good starting point, but I know a lot of people, maybe something like The Grapes of Death would be more ideal, just because The Grapes of Death is it's just more of a, it has Rollin's elements, but it is more of a commercial kind of film. Before you dive into like the subtext of it and how, devastating it really is when you start thinking about it. But yeah, I think, The Grapes of, but I actually think Requiem is a pretty good starting point. Because if you can't get through the first 20 minutes of it, then Rollin's probably not going to be for you. Like it's kind of a litmus
true,
test.
Actually. Yep, that is true.
I definitely wouldn't recommend like The Iron Rose or Night of the Hunted. I think those are so.
Oh, those are those are too special, I think.
Yeah. I mean,
those are for dyed in the wool, I think, Rollin people.
Yeah. They're just so kind of abstract and like I wouldn't recommend like Rape of the Vampire. Like that's such a hard film. That's a difficult.
That's hard for even me to get through, and I'm a big Rollin fan. I don't even own that one, really. Yeah, I don't even own that.
I've managed to see it a few times, but it is a very difficult film. I love the history behind it, but it's a hard watch. Yeah. But really, I've thought about I think for Rollin, like any of those classic films from the 70s, like the early 70s, if you can't get into those, then you're not gonna latch onto it. I don't think. What do you think, Gentry? You've got
that's a good. I still think Lips of Blood might be a good starting place, but
it's a good starting place.
I'm obviously biased.
Obviously. Well, listen, I'm a Brigitte guy through and through, but you're right. Because there's a Brigitte, even though I'm a Brigitte person, I don't know if I would say like Fascination should be a good entry.
Yeah,
Fascination is a good entry point for a lot of people these days, and I think
that has been an intro for a lot of people.
Yeah. One of my favorite people who reviews on TikTok and Letterboxd just gave it a review, and he was like, "This is one." I think he said it was like his first or second Rollin. He gave it 5 stars. I was like, "You are in for a journey." Like but the funny thing is, he posts video reviews with clips from the movie behind him, and I was like, obviously, you couldn't pick the best scene in the movie behind you on social media because you can't show breasts. It was basically the scene where it's the 2 girls talking to the guy in the room, and I'm just like, okay, well, this is going to entice anyone to want to see it, but you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Lips of Blood is a good one, Gentry, I think. But you wouldn't suggest this, like, if someone listening to this episode has never seen Rollin, you wouldn't be like, start with this, or would you say...
Well, here's the thing. I would want to know who, I would want to, if it's someone I know, I would tailor my suggestion towards, their personality. Like, The Shiver of the Vampires is great. I love it, but it's very 70s hippie rock.
All those long speeches by the philosopher vampires. Yeah, I can't stand those. Yeah.
I like it, and I think it does appeal to certain people. So, I might.
Sandra Julianne's great.
Yeah, and I like with Rollin. I mean, any title that you suggest with him, it's going to be a test for a person. Like they really like. It's not going to be like any other film or any other director. So they're going to have to be comfortable with nudity. Right. They're going to have to be comfortable with these long passages of kind of nothing happening, even in Grapes of Death, they're going to have to be comfortable with these things, and they're going to have to kind of adjust their mindset. If they're used to modern film, this is going to be a whole different experience.
But even the Living Dead girl has a certain fandom as well amongst like people that love gore films.
People love that. People love the Living Dead girl. Yes. And that's one that I love the performances in it, and I love the scenes with the 2 of them. I'm taken out of the movie with the kind of I don't know if it's American Tourist or
photographer girl.
Yes.
That just kind of throws me out of the film.
There literally is no reason for them to be there because they end up dead anyway, and we learn nothing from that journey. Yeah, I wanted more of the girls.
But otherwise, people love. I mean, people love that film, so maybe that's
Yeah, I've even seen a lot of queer people that love The Escapees for that relationship between the two girls.
I still need to see that.
You know,
The Escapees is a cool little film. I just seen that one. I'd never seen that one before until I don't know if it's a Blu-ray or what it was, but yeah, it's a neat little film. It's not one of my favorites, but yeah, it's a cool little film. Yeah.
So there's tons of entry points, I feel like.
Yeah, there really are. Just stay away from. I would not recommend like Lost in New York or
I wouldn't recommend Two Orphan Vampires either. Yeah, I wouldn't really recommend anything after like 81 as an entry.
No, because after that there becomes like an element of you can really tell that he's fighting with his budgets and he's like struggling with it didn't click like it did before. Like the 70s, I mean, just the cast and the crews and I mean, they were just this small group of people making these really unique.
And he's like referencing himself all the time in those 80s and 90s films. So it's like you kind of have to know his work a little bit.
Yeah, right. He really does have a classic period that I mean, it's a great run from like 72 to 82. It
really is. Well, I mean, I have said I will always say it. I guess I don't care if people get tired of it. I'm for the women. So like, and when I watch these movies, sexploitation, adult, anything, I'm all about the women. I don't need
lots of good women in Jean Rollin.
So many good Rollin women. I think that's why the Nude Vampire, I'm like, I don't give a shit about this guy at the center of this. Like, I like Nude Vampire, but it's not, and Shiver the Vampires is about the couple. I'm like, whatever. I think that's why Fascination, I love, Night of the Hunted, and Living Dead Girl, like you mentioned, it is about that central friendship. It's about those two girls and how they're trying to deal with this little hiccup of one of them being dead, and unfortunately it ends very inevitably and tragically, and that's another one that I get very emotional at the end of, because I'm just like and that's something so weird about Rollin. You would not think he would be like, I don't know, Kurosawa or an Ozu, where he's able to play with the emotions that well and make in something so slight on paper where there's such emotion in it. And so like, yeah, Fascination is great, but like Night of the Hunted, that just really hits hard for me. And that's one that I have a playlist on YouTube called Crying, because, you know, like any good Virgo, sometimes you just need to cry because life. And so that ending sequence is something I will just put on, and I'm like, okay, here come the waterworks. That's I just need to cry at these two doomed people just walking away into nothingness.
Emotional, they're very emotional films. Like, and that's something that the other kind of immoral tales directors or Argento, I mean, he's just a very emotional director. There's a very personal kind of haunting quality about his films. I mean, they're sad. They're I mean, like his class, they're sad films. Yeah, I mean, like when I was doing the great, and you mentioned the act, like on my commentaries, I've struggled like talking about the actors for the most part that he worked with, just because I just find that they take a back seat. I mean, with Rollin, it is about the women in the films and these strong female presences. I mean, and so that's what I always focus. I mean, I just inevitably focus on it. I just find them more interesting. I mean, there were certain actors like Willie Brock's an interesting guy. And
right.
Super interesting.
There's certain guys that he worked with.
He's great.
But for the most part, he just had a real connection with these actresses. And so I think for anybody that's new to Rollin, that's going to be a big introduction. Like whatever film you watch, you're going to be kind of not only starting to form a relationship with Rollin as a filmmaker, but you're going to like form a relationship with this person that he's picked for this movie, because they're so perfect for whatever actors it was. They're just perfect for those roles. I was really
Iron Rose again.
Francoise Pascal.
Is that? Oh God,
Yep.
That's another performance that's just like
British girl.
Yeah.
I think it's the first really great performance that he had in one of his films up to that point.
He didn't want her. That's the story.
I remember that.
She's great in it too. Yeah.
She's absolutely sensational.
He wanted one of the twins again. He wanted his, Castell girl. But
with all due respect, love them. They could not have done that role.
No.
They could not have brought anything to that role. She didn't. Yeah.
She's fantastic in that movie. It's a shame that it wasn't really seen at the time. I mean, she's just fantastic in it.
Yeah.
And
that was one of the last ones of his that I saw. It took me a long time to see it. It finally came out on Blu-ray, and I was like, wow, I can't believe that I can still be blown away by Rollin. I thought I'd seen everything.
That's another one that you'll see like I used to see screen capped all the time, like just images from the Iron Rose, and people were just like, holy cow, what is this gothic masterpiece movie I have to watch?
Yeah, and I guess maybe that's a good way. Like if you're introducing a person, if they're into horror films, you could recommend The Grapes of Death. If they're into kind of more erotic films, Fascination. If they're into gore or Living Dead, I mean, he's got kind of something for everybody.
He really does,
which is cool. So
yeah, like I watch The Iron Rose every Halloween. That's like a Halloween movie for me.
Oh yeah,
that's a good pick, Gentry. Actually, maybe I should do that for Halloween this year.
Cemeteries,
that's a good one.
Real ghetto 70s porn. You can watch Disco Sex.
Yes, tell me where you saw that, Jeremy.
I've got some weird
tell me where you saw
VHS copy of that somewhere with no subtitle, and it's just, man, it's yeah.
You and Sam Deegan apparently have seen this movie, and I must see it.
I think I copied Sam my copy because when she was working on that book Lost Girls, I'd sent her a couple of his hardcore films.
I really do love Kathy Stewart when I see her pop up in pornos.
Oh
sometimes.
Well, I do too. But I mean, that's another one. Night of the Hunted. God, that performance is really.
Hunted, yes.
Oh my God, yeah. I love the French adult era. I mean, those actresses are amazing. Like there's
so many good ones.
Oh yeah. I wish I love Marilyn Jess. Like I mean, I wish she had. I don't know. She appears briefly in Night of the Hunted. I wish that she would have maybe done more with him later.
Yeah,
because they really got. I mean, from the book I read, they really got along well. And
that's surprising then.
Yeah, I recently discovered that his cinematographer Jean-Jacques Renan shot. I got a copy of the adult film that he shot, and it stars Marilyn Jess, and it features a lot of the crew and some of the cast from Grapes of Death. It was made like a year before. So it's interesting how all this stuff connects, and I mean, these people were just working and just all these different genres. It's really, really just a unique time, especially compared to today. So,
well, should we wrap it, boys?
I think so. I hope this went well. I had a lot of fun. I appreciate you guys inviting me.
We love talking Rollin and complaining about AI with people.
Yeah, no. Hey, anytime you want to complain about AI, just call me up. I'll be willing to throw down for a few hours about it.
Thank you for listening. To hear more shows from the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network, please select the link in the description.
Have you ever wanted to dive deeper into the horror movies you love? Beyond the Blood is a horror podcast for fans who want more than just surface-level screams. We do deep dives into the movies that shaped us, digging into director commentaries, behind-the-scenes stories, deleted scenes, and the special features that most people skip. Each episode is a love letter to the genre. We break down how these films were made, the creative risks that paid off or didn't, and the lasting impact they've had on the genre as a whole. From 70s slashers to modern nightmares, we celebrate the craft, chaos, and characters that keep us coming back. If you're the kind of fan who rewatches movies with the commentary on, or you simply grew up in the video store horror aisle, the Beyond the Blood podcast was made for you. New episodes every single week. Subscribe, and let's dig deep. Welcome to the Beyond the Blood podcast.